Hello, welcome back, but what I'm going to be is that we're back with Hoshizora and Memoria. Let me just come here. There we go. Nothing really much to say about right now. Weird for me to not have anything to say right out the gate. Oh well, nothing you can do about it. After changing into her school uniform, Aoi Suzu goes to hang up her pajamas. During the first semester, she was always too pressed on time to do so, and would instead lazily toss them onto her bed more often than not. Today marks the start of the second semester. Once in her life, she was miraculously able to get up at a reasonable time. The reason for that, however, is unclear. Perhaps leaving her summer homework unfinished and going to bed early has paid off in the end. She snickers triumphantly. People often think she receives perfect grades because of a combination of both her looks and her personality, but in reality, they could not be more wrong. She had managed to avoid failing her exams this time around, but sooner or later her habit may catch up to her, which would then force her to take remedial classes with Chinami. She dreads nothing more than that.
この国って窮屈。
She finishes getting herself prepared. Did they live out of country for a while? Maybe that's why she also misses the southern sky, because her family used to live in the southern hemisphere for a while. Oh. She finishes getting herself prepared. All that's left is to walk out of her room with her book bag slung onto her shoulders. Knock knock. After the knocking sounds, the door creaks open.
朝だよ、お姉ちゃん。早く起きないと。おはよう。お姉ちゃん
The sheer amount of surprise! Her eyes are wide open in disbelief.
お姉ちゃんがこんな早く起きてるなんて。
Unlike her older sister, Suza is always an early riser.
早いって言っても朝ごはん食べる余裕はないけど。急げばまだ食べられるよ。食欲ないし、いい。
Because she was bad with mornings, breakfast was a meal she rarely ever had.
鈴葉は急がなくていいの？そろそろ家出ないと遅刻するよ。
The elementary school is a bit of a further ways out when compared to Ibari High.
今から出るところだよ。その前にお姉ちゃんを起こそうと思ったんだけど。毎朝ありがとうね。うんうん。今日はお姉ちゃん一人で起きてたし。これが毎日続くと嬉しいな。
Suza then leaves the room after saying goodbye. Today is an exception among her routine. In the end, she knows better than anyone that her little sister's wish will not come true. She takes out the tarot card box from her book bag. There isn't much use in her divining her future. She's positive that the cards will likely come to the exact same conclusion in this regard. She flips over a card at random and it happens to be the Lovers. It mainly holds implications of friendship, love, and the sort. Furthermore, it's in the upright position. Essentially, this means she will make a new friend sometime in the near future or start dating someone.
ありえない。
She lays the tarot cards out on the desk, then proceeds to shuffle them together with the Lover's card she'd placed among the rest. After that, she pulls out a card once more. It was the Lover's. Once again in the upright position.
死ねばいいのに。
Unsatisfied with the conclusion it gave her, she continues doing tarot readings until she pulls out the death card. Death represents ruinment at the end of something, but it can also signal a new beginning. In the end, she'd wasted too much time on her tarot cards and was on the verge of being late as per usual.
行ってきます。
The fucking universe is just be like, listen up, you're going to you're going to be the heroine of this route, rather you fucking like it or not. Also, I finally actually found something better to use as mousepad, namely an actual mousepad. This feels a lot better than the fucking random ass piece of leather. Which already looks horrendous, by the way. Don't worry, there's actually something back there. Namely, the box that I usually hit. Oh, that I fucking missed, though. Actually, it landed with the other stuff. Nothing to worry about then. Remember the box I once accidentally fucking broke? Basically that. After gathering her cards, she puts them back into her bag and nonchalantly exits the room without hurry. I still need to fucking turn on full screen. I just kind of forgot to do that because of yesterday. We happened to see Aoi passing by our house just as we left to ignore Jinami's greeting in a seemingly dejected manner. Hey Aoi, cutting it pretty close on the first day of the new semester, huh?
先輩こそ遅いんですね。葵ちゃん、葵ちゃん、おはよう、おはよう。ちゃんと聞こえてるから。でも朝の挨拶はおはようなんだよ。葵ちゃんがいてくれるまで、ちなみは何度でも挨拶する覚悟があるんだよ。ふざ。葵ちゃん、葵ちゃん、おはよう、おはよう。うざいの極み。
Well, I don't think this is gonna end anytime soon unless you just give up and say it. 葵ちゃん、葵ちゃん、葵ちゃん、おはよう、おはよう、おはよう。おはよう。Good morning, Aoi.
おはようございます。2学期になっても3人一緒に登校だね。
Sighing heavily, Aoi left us behind and started her climb up the hill.
よう先輩。
What's up?
彼女っていますか？
That sure came out of left field.
いえ、単に気になっただけです。
She shifted her eyes downward. I happened to notice that she hardly ever looks people in the eye when speaking to them. Well, naturally, I haven't even been here that long, really.
じゃあ、前の学校ではどうだったんですか？
Nope.
そうですか。
She ended it there. I don't know why she asked me that.
葵ちゃん、葵ちゃん、ちなみにも聞いてみて。ちなみさん、彼女はいる？ちなみは男じゃないから彼女はいらないよ。花も恥じらうちなみはどっちかっていうと彼氏の方が欲しいかな。ちなみさん、彼女はいる？早く彼氏はいるって聞いてほしいよ、葵ちゃん。ちなみさん、彼氏はいる？ちなみの彼氏はお兄ちゃんだよ。お兄ちゃん？人の名前じゃないよ、葵ちゃん。
Why, hello there, big sister.
死んだらいいと思います。
Don't blame me, you started it.
それより、ちなみのさりげない告白がスルーされてるよ。ちなみさんは、よう先輩が好きなんだ。誰にも言わないでね。
The bell's probably gonna ring soon.
のんびりと急ぎましょう。花も恥じらうちなみが見事にスルーされてるよ。
Because it's you. These lively exchanges during our commute to school were yet another thing that had continued from our previous semester.
というわけで、テンクルは正式に部として認められました。
The club members all cheered at Hisakaki's words. Today's opening ceremony ended without incident, which was followed by the club meeting that Hisakaki attended. You and May are registered as club members now, right?
まあね、私は活動に参加しないけど、
And what's the point of even joining?
秋は生徒主導の行事が多くて、生徒会が忙しいのよ。それに、夏休みに何度か活動を見たところ、特に問題ないみたいだし、監督のお役ごめんってところね。
On the subject, I also received an invitation to join the student council from Hisakaki at the time, but I already politely declined.
何はともあれ、今日は部員の皆さんで発足おめでとうパーティーですね。
ちょうど昼時だしね。
じゃあうちのお店来る？お昼食べながらパーッと騒ごっか。私はもう食べてしまいました。
I was wondering what took you so long to get here. You went and ate something at the cafeteria?
朝食抜きの身でしたので我慢できませんでした。
Well, you're still coming to the party, okay?
はい、考えさせてください。
I don't think you have a lot of time to ponder it.
下校しながら考えます。
I managed you might just sneak on home if I didn't get a close enough eye on. If I don't keep a close enough eye on her.
パーティーはいいけど、その前に部費が支給されることになってるわよ。
早速パーティー代で使えそうだね。
部費いるの？
いるに決まってるでしょ。
1年分もらえるのかい？
いえ、2学期と3学期分だけです。来年度になってもまだ部が生き残っていれば、4月に今度は1年分出ます。
ケチだな。
規則にのっとった処置だから。
姉さん、ありがとうございました。
So we can just go grab the money now?
そうよ、生徒会室までお願い。
深泉先輩、よろしくお願いします。
部長として責任持って預かってくるよ。
With Hisakaki taking lead, Okaizumi exited the club room. Man, you might be able to afford a new telescope now.
今まではアスホさんのものと葵さんのもの合わせて2つだけでしたからね。
Always telescope was pretty much only for her to use anyway, so it essentially felt like we only have one.
部費がいくら出るかによるけど、できたら全員分の双眼鏡も欲しいな。
We can even buy Aoi a carrying case for her telescope now.
お気遣いなく。むき出しのまま運ぶと傷ついちゃうし、一番に買ってあげるね。お気遣いなくって言いました。
You know, Aoi, it's a problem for us if you act too reserved.
遠慮してるわけじゃありません。必要ないから言ってるんです。
You just don't want to admit you're embarrassed, huh?
冗談はよしこさんです。
What era is she from?
とにかく私は結構ですから。
No, I can't just take that for an answer.
あまり私に構わないでください。
What's your fellow club member, Aoi?
うざ。
I mean, I won't force one on you if you don't want it.
だったらなおさら私に構わないでください。
Also, in Cosme, we're looking at each other with worryful expressions.
そろそろ帰ります。
Wait, what about the party?
考えた結果、不参加にしましたから。
She left before we could say anything in response.
葵さん、テンクルに参加してもらってるの、まだ迷惑だって思ってるのかな。もともと部には入らないつもりだったんですよね。
It wasn't like she was particularly fond of stargazing either. The only reason she'd been going up to the rooftop at night with a telescope was because she has an attachment to the night sky from her memories.
天体観測、好きになってくれると嬉しいな。
Yeah, even if she doesn't now, we should at least try to get her interested little by little.
勧誘をした私たちの責任ですね。
At the same time, we wouldn't really have any right to stop her in the event that she decided to leave the club. We'd have to really work our ass off so it didn't come to that. Ugh. Tired. Oh, hey, can I talk to you about something? Went over to Oe, was lounging around the living room after dinner.
おめでとうパーティーについてですか？
No, we did wish you were there with us, but it's still your choice to come or not, and we understand that.
そうですか。
But we'd love you to come next time.
次もあるんですか？
Well, we'll have plenty of opportunities for them. We could have one basically any time, even if there wasn't anything to celebrate. Well, it's just a little something we discussed at the party that I wanted to get your opinion on. We were planning on doing our stargazing sessions every Friday. That work out for you?
部活動の予定ですか？
Basically, yeah. If we had it to where the following day was Saturday, then we'd be able to stay out till late at night, even with Saturday school, as it was still technically a non-school day.
屋上で天体観測するんですか？
Yeah, basically like what we did during summer vacation. Is that fun by you?
もう決まったんじゃないんですか？
We wanted to make sure it worked for you first. She stared at me blank.
私が反対したらやめるんですか？
Nah, I mean, there's really no point if not everyone's in favor of the idea, so yeah, I guess.
じゃあ反対してみます。
Alright.
そんなあっさり。
Well, didn't I tell you there's no point in doing it if you're against it? Incidentally, we put Kosuma in charge of asking Izukaki along with our paper member Setsuna. Based on what she told us, neither of them had anything against it, but they weren't planning to come either.
冗談です。
She muttered softly under her breath. About what?
別に天体観測は反対しないという意味です。
Just don't go and tell me you're gonna be abstaining from participating in return for your approval.
それはわかりません。
You really should come if you can.
わかりませんって言いました。
If I pressed her any more than this, it'd make me feel in the wrong. You should probably just leave it at that.
お兄ちゃんお兄ちゃんお兄ちゃん
2 more beatings. We gotta remember that.
うるさいのが来た。
ちなみにこれから鈴葉ちゃんと一緒にお風呂入ってくるね。
Sure, though, I'm not sure that it's something you need to tell me in the first place.
ちなみたちが入ってるのにお兄ちゃんまで間違って入ってこないようにするためだよ。
Yes, I appreciate the concern, but you're only smearing my name by implying I do
ねえ
that.
ねえ、葵ちゃんも一緒に入ろう。
死ねばいいのに。お姉ちゃんも一緒がいい。鈴葉、お風呂まで借りるなんて迷惑になるでしょ。
遠慮なんかしなくていいのよ。4人で入ってきたらいいじゃない。
Like, oh wait, like fucking Izuzu is trying every tactic to get Suzuha to back down on this without being like straight up mean. To be like, come on, it's not you're imposing here. It's not nice. But Chino is just shutting every fucking attempt down, basically. Back up in a moment. Isn't that one too many?
誰もようちゃんのことだなんて言ってないわよ。ちなみと鈴葉ちゃんと葵ちゃんとしのようちゃんも一緒に入りたいの？
No, thank you.
先輩は死んだらいいと思います。
What the heck? Anyone would have misunderstood where that conversation was going.
お兄ちゃんが望むなら、ちなみはいいよ。
Then excuse me while I do what I really want.
このグリグリは話の流れを無視してるよ、お兄ちゃん。お風呂を見てくるわね。お湯が沸いたら呼ぶからね。
Oh, Chino left the living room with a smile on her face.
今夜はみんなでお風呂だね。
ありえない。
In your dreams.
私はみんな一緒。鈴葉は私が必ず守る。
Please do not say that while glaring at me.
お姉ちゃんも一緒じゃないとブラジャーうまく外せないし。
鈴葉ちゃん、
うブラつけてるの？はい。つい最近からなので、まだ自分で上手につけたり外したりできなくって。
Ah, third grade is pretty early to start wearing them.
訴えますよ。
How exactly does that count as sexual harassment, please tell?
ロリコン発言なんだよね。
Okay, please hold the fucking game while I go get something to assassinate Chinami with. Oh, and why is Miss Tiny Tits over here getting so full of herself?
それは紛れもないセクハラ発言だよ、お兄ちゃん。よし、勝ってる。
Sorry, Aoi, but I'm pretty sure your bust loses out even to Chinami.
ちなみは中学に上がってからだったよ。同じく。
Did you say you want to go ahead and wear one?
お母さんに言われたんです。膨らみ始めはデリケートだから保護するって鈴葉ちゃんって進んでるね。そうなんでしょうか。それに比べて葵ちゃんは中学からだったんだね。黙れつるぺた。どうしからは言われたくなかったよ、葵ちゃん。窮屈だし私はいらないって言ったんですけど。
I think I remember hearing that around the time of your first period is about when you should start wearing a bra.
なんで知ってるんですか？
Look, okay, it was just something I overheard our mom talk about when Chinami had hers.
ちなみの所長は小学6年だったよ。葵ちゃんは？言うわけない。鈴葉ちゃんは？よくわかりませんけど、まだだと思います。なのにもう胸膨らんでるんだね。
Apparently your breasts begin to swell around a year or so before or after your first period.
だから、なんで知ってるんですか？
I literally heard it from my mom, jeez.
じゃあ、鈴葉ちゃんの所長はもうすぐなんだね。よくわかりませんけど、頑張ります。
Like the other two girls, like, yeah, you'll fucking need it. Like, what? Nothing.
私は中学だったのに。葵ちゃんは発育が遅いんだね。黙れ幼児体型。どうしから言われるとショックが二重だよ、葵ちゃん。
Which I guess means Suza is the fast girl compared to her big sister, huh?
いい加減、親父発言はやめてください。
Maybe I should just keep my mouth shut. Yes, you should have. Honest to God, the moment this conversation went this direction, you should have fucking left.
私、体弱いのに。そんなの関係ないよ。鈴葉ちゃんは将来きっと巨乳だね。よかったね、鈴葉。お姉ちゃんの笑顔が引きつってて怖いよ。みんな、お湯沸いたから入っていいわよ。はーい。鈴葉ちゃん、お姉ちゃんは。私はいいから。しのさん。ブラジャーは私が外してあ
The
げ
two
る
of
わ
them
ね。
went off to the bathroom together. Should have just gone with them, honestly.
私は用事がありますから。
Oh, wait, then stood up. Going out somewhere?
はい。
Rooftop?
先輩には関係ありません。
Mind if I tag along?
ダメです。
Why's that?
先輩こそ、なんでついてくるんですか？
School building's scary at night, you know?
何ですかそれは。
You're scared of ghosts sent the like, aren't you? So I'll go with you and keep you safe.
死んだらいいと思います。
Joking aside, I'm also kind of in the mood to look at the stars.
星が見たいのなら、勝手にすればいいと思います。
And I'll go on my own time with you.
私、自宅で制服に着替えてきますから。
After Oe left the living room, I also went up to my room to change. You both arrived at the rooftop unseen. As usual, Hibari High security seemed... Ah! Hiccups. As usual, Hibari High's security seemed to be severely lacking. Gotta set up your telescope now, right?
そうですけど、
I hope.
結構です。
You can mount the lens tube, so I'll leave setting up the stand. I can mount the lens tube, so I'll leave setting up the stand to you.
結構ですって言いました。
Well, wanna be quick with two?
私のは、麻生先輩の望遠鏡と違って複雑じゃないから大して変わりません。
I say it won't know unless you try.
わかります。
Come on, let's just let me help. Gotta at least try.
先輩は勝手に星見するんじゃなかったんですか？
Well, more precisely, wanted to stargaze with you.
そろそろ帰ります。
Okay, I was joking. Stop bothering you now.
最初からそうしてほしかったです。
She set up a telescope without saying a word. Compared to the one also ahead, ours was a much smaller refracting telescope. Never once touched that telescope of hers. Ollie never would have accepted my help. Not even when I'd offered to help set it up. Also not when I'd offered to carry it for her. She was peeking through the lens, which I guess meant she was through setting it up. And long after, she took her eyes away from the lens, then stood behind the telescope that she went through the trouble of assembling and looked up at the starry sky with her naked eye instead. Not gonna use the telescope. Oops. Her gaze slowly turned to me.
望遠鏡はさっき使いました。
You only looked for a few seconds now.
それで十分ですから。
Aren't you going to stargaze?
してますから。
Promise you already Ime and Ikoboshi look as beautiful as ever tonight.
そうですか。
So we're trying, all still up there, shining bright.
興味ありませんから。
Once fall comes, we won't be able to see the great square of Pegasus.
興味ないって言いました。
Are the stars of the southern sky the only stars you care about?
先輩には関係ありません。
Well, if you're not going to use your telescope, mind if I do?
干渉しないんじゃなかったんですか？
I'm not bothering you, it's a request.
腑に落ちませんが。
So, can I please?
ダメです。
Come on, don't be that way.
しつこいです。
Is it something that precious to you that you don't want others touching it?
関係ありませんから。
Do you find me annoying right now?
ちなみさんよりはマシかもしれません。
Do I take that as a compliment?
知りません。
You know, we're gonna build a planetarium with the southern sky again. That's the reason you joined the Answer Circle after all.
無理はしなくていいですから。そのせいでまた先輩が赤点取ったら私が悪いみたいで迷惑ですから。
We'll hold off on doing it during finals period.
そうしてください。
Okay, you'll get to join us next time we build it.
そうなんですか？
That is right.
真似しないでください。
You should make it together with us.
私でも、
As if she were directing her words towards the telescope, she went on.
私でも作れるんでしょうか？南天の星空を作れるんでしょうか？
You will? As long as you're a member of the Astro Circle, you can make the impossible possible.
それでうまいこと言ったつもりでしょうか？ふざ
That hit where it
で
hurt.
すけど、退部する気は今のところありませんから。積極的に参加するつもりもありませんけど。
Okay, that's an adorable smile. Hold on. There we go. The corners of her mouth rose to form a slight smile. And merely being able to see that expression of hers was enough for me at the moment. Also, funny little thing that happened. Like I said, I had an appointment at a dermatologist today. And my brother actually also needs to get an appointment for a dermatologist, but he didn't have time today. So it wasn't a case of, okay, we'll just make one for both of us. So it was only for me. And afterwards, my mother wanted to also agree on, try to set up an appointment for my brother. And they were like, oh, well, not really that, we can't really like slot him in anywhere right now. Well, when's the next opening? September. So yeah, apparently I got really fucking lucky when my mother managed to get a fucking appointment today, 2 days ago. Because she called like right after someone cancelled theirs. Oh, hi, morning.
おはようございます。
Upon stepping out of my door, I encountered Aoi in front of my home. She would usually just pass by and make her way up the hill, but today she was just standing there, sort of like she was waiting for someone. Were you waiting for us so we could walk to school together?
違います。
Yeah, I didn't think
ち
so.
なみさんは
Did you need to talk to her?
はい。あの野郎はどこですか
Oh boy, God only knows what she did this time. She was rushing to get ready, so she should be here before long. Did you do
し
something?
でかしてくれました。
Are you angry at her?
怒ってます。
You weren't angry last night, though, were you?
考えてみると、夕べに怒るべきでした。
Damn it, Chinami, what did you do this
鈴葉と一緒にお風呂に入りました。
And why are you angry about that?
お風呂から上がった後、鈴葉はちなみさんと遊んでいたようなんです。
When we got back from our stargazing, two of them were fast asleep in the living room. Their faces were simply precious, too. Since Aunt Shino had work to do, I wouldn't be surprised if the two of them played together the entire
だ
time.
と思います。
Guess they were exhausted from playing, because neither of them showed signs of waking up. Aoi carried Suzuha home on her back, still asleep. Also carried Chinami to her room. So, what was so bad about that?
鈴葉は湯冷めしやすいのに、リビングで上に何もかけずに寝ていたことが問題なんです。あ、葵ちゃんだ。おはよう。ちなみさん、おはよう。挨拶返してくれたのは嬉しいけど、なんでグリグリまでされてるの？ちなみさん、夕べは鈴葉と何して遊んでた？体力の限界を突破する勢いで鬼ごっことかくれんぼやってたよ。本当にありがとうございます。グリグリが強くなったよ、葵ちゃん。
Did Suzuha catch cold by any chance?
はい、熱を出して今も部屋で休んでます。
After releasing Chinami from her clutches, she dispiritedly ascended the slope. Chinami only stood there with a blank look on her face.
鈴葉ちゃん、病気なの？
Seems like it. Suppose she was taking the day off school today. It's gotta be why Aoi was so angry.
ちなみのせいで？
You're not the only one to blame. Because Aunt Shina was busy with work, she couldn't stay in the room and watch over Suzuha. And I still left the house despite knowing that. We all equally shared the blame. You'd better chase after her.
謝らなきゃ。
Seeing Chinami so downhearted made me understand just how worried she was about about Suzuha-chan. I shouldn't have said the Chan bit.
鈴葉ちゃん風邪なんだよね。ちなみのせいなんだよね。だから謝るね。ごめんね、葵ちゃん。葵ちゃんが許してくれるまで謝るよ。ごめんね、ごめんね、ごめんね、ごめんね。うざい。
Look, Chinami's worried too. Could I please ask you to forgive her?
誰も許さないとは言ってません。
Thanks.
お礼もいりませんから。
Also, I need to apologize to you too.
先輩が謝ったら、一緒に星見してた私も謝らなきゃならないじゃないですか。
So you admit we were stargazing together last night, huh?
死んだらいいと思います。
葵ちゃん、葵ちゃん。ちなみ、学校終わったら鈴葉ちゃんのお見舞いに行くね。
来なくていい。
なんで鈴葉ちゃんのこと心配なのに。
心配しなくていい。
なんでちなみたち友達なのに。
友達じゃなくていい。
Is she really in that bad of a shape?
熱を出すのはよくあることなので大事はないです。
Well, if you think she ought to get her rest now, we'll hold off on visiting.
先輩もお見舞い来るんですか？
I can't.
そういうわけでは。
しのさんにスフレ焼いてもらって持っていくね。
ちなみさんは来なくていい。
なんでお兄ちゃんはいいのになんでちなみはダメなの？
騒がしくなるから。
ちなみはこう見えて友達の家では借りてきた猫のようにおとなしくなるんだよ。
Yeah, no, I don't believe you for a fucking second.
私の家に遊びに来ておとなしかったことは一度としてなかった。
お見舞いの時はおとなしくしてるよ。
信じられないし想像できない。
This might be your chance then. Oh, I tilted her head and looked at me with a puzzled expression. Might get the rare opportunity to see Chinami quiet and behaved. When all said and done, Chinami wasn't one to purposefully go out and cause trouble for those she cared about. Besides, I'm sure Suza would be happier to see Chinami come visit her than anyone else. So can I come over with Chinami after school?
もう勝手にしてください。
So I managed to talk it through and receive a permission.
鈴葉が喜ぶのは否定できませんから。
Oh, I acted morose all throughout. School was now over. I skipped out on club today, giving them the excuse that I had something to take care of. Well, it wasn't like anybody complained about me missing a meeting or two. Aside from the stargazing sessions we would hold on Fridays, the only thing we really did was chat amongst ourselves. We met up in front of the school gates and then made our way to Aoi's house.
今鍵を開けますから。
Are parents at work?
はい、どちらも夜まで帰ってきません。
Suza was home all alone then?
いえ、昼休みに両親2人とも帰ってきて鈴葉にご飯を食べさせてるはずです。
親バカって言ってたもんね。
黙れつるぺた。
つるぺたは一遍たりとも関係ないよ葵ちゃん。
うるさくするなら帰ってもらうから。
家に入った瞬間にちなみはおとなしくなるよ。
先輩、信じていいんですね。
Yeah, I guarantee it. Albeit with a dubious expression, how I unlocked the door.
それではどうぞ。
お邪魔しまーす。
うるさいから帰ってくれる？
挨拶くらい多めに見てほしいよ葵ちゃん。
Maybe it was too quick to make guarantees. Suza's room was on the second floor. The three of us walked up the stairs as quietly as we could. This was my first time coming to Aoi's house, so I was honestly a bit nervous. Compared to our house, the floors, the walls, and even the ceiling looked brand new.
鈴葉？
She called out through the door after knocking.
陽先輩とちなみさんがお見舞いに来てくれたよ。
After that, the three of us entered the room.
寝てるみたいです。
This looks like she's on the fucking deathbed. I understand being worried, but she's like fucking like... She's grabbing the hand like it's a fucking coma patient. What the fuck? Yep.
静かにお願いします。
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure she was doing all right.
大声は出さないように。
I know.
息を潜めるように。
I know.
息をしないように。
Showing us a die.
ちなみさんのうるさいツッコミが来ない。
Seems like she was testing Chinami.
鈴葉ちゃん。
She was fast asleep. Chinami held on to that small hand that was poking out from under the blanket. Aoi didn't say a word, and neither did Chinami. She was behaving herself just as she said she would. I don't know if it was from her hand getting grabbed or what, but Suzu's eyelids faintly open. I'm still gonna use the fucking like closed eye version just to fuck with people.
私、ゆっくり寝てた？
Suzu's gaze was focused on Aoi, who was leaning her face in.
お姉ちゃん、ごめんね、起こしちゃって。ううん。今、何時？ 4 時くらい。いっぱいお昼寝しちゃった。お薬は飲んだ？うん。お昼ご飯食べた後に飲んだ。また寝ててもいいよ。うん。
Her drowsy eyes drifted to the figure standing behind Aoi, which turned out to be me.
りょうさん。
Yep, Chinami's here as well. Forget causing a ruckus, Chinami hadn't uttered a single word for a while now. She'd been holding Suzu's hand the entire
ち
time.
なみさん。お見舞いですか？ありがとうございます。私、平気ですから。いつものことだし。ちなみさん？さっきから彫像みたいで不気味。
See, isn't she behaved?
極端すぎます。
I think you can at least say a few things to Suzu, Chinami.
いいの？はい。私もちなみさんとお話ししたいです。でも、私の風邪がうつったら。大丈夫だよ。ちなみは風邪ひかない子だからね。バカは風邪ひかない？言うと思ったよ、葵ちゃん。
Chinami, let's hush down, okay?
ごめんなさい。しょげるちなみさんも珍しい。
I myself had seen this side of Chinami from time to
Chinami?
time.
もう帰った方がいいかな。いえ、そんなことないです。私、ちなみさんと一緒にいると元気になれますから。私もちなみさんみたいに元気になりたいって思うから。すずはちゃんならすぐ元気になれるよ。はい。しのさんのスフレ持ってきたから、元気になったら食べてね。ありがとうございます。
We'd only wear out Suzu if too many of us crowded into her room. I think it'd be okay to let Chinami handle the rest here on her own. Always still seemed a bit anxious, but she told us she was going back to her room and left together with me. Good thing it didn't seem like anything too serious. はい。それでも2、3日は学校を休むことになると思います。無理をすると体調を崩すのはいつものことなんですけど。Yeah, Suzu said the same thing. なので、今後は気をつけてもらえると助かります。I'll pass it on to Chinami as well. お願いします。Would it be better if you guys ate dinner at your own house tonight? そうさせてもらいます。I'll tell on Chino that later. すみません。Does that mean you're gonna be doing the cooking then? 親の帰りが遅ければ、そうなります。Mind if I propose a little something then? よくありません。That was a fast response. 食事を持ってくると言いそうな雰囲気でしたから。Well, yeah, I thought that I could at least make you guys rice porridge or something. それくらい、私も作れますから。If you're thinking it's any trouble for me, then you really don't have to worry about that. むしろ、私が迷惑です。Then maybe later I'll... 結構です。Come on, at least let me finish. 聞いても答えは変わりませんから。I'll see about that. なんて言おうとしたんですか？ Maybe later I'll ask Suzu what she wants to do for dinner. それは卑怯です。I'm kidding. I don't want to be pushy, so I'll stop at that for today. それが身のためです。 How the hell am I supposed to take that?
先輩、帰らないんですか？
I'll leave when Chinami's done.
私は、宿題でもしてます。い
Okay?
つもならしないんですけど。
That wasn't the kind of image I had of her. Are you trying to tell me to get out of your room?
単に暇だからです。あと、そこに立たれてると落ち着かないんですけど。
Want me to sit down then?
できれば帰ってほしいです。
Yeah, she was definitely trying to run me out.
でも、座ってもらった方が立たれてるよりはマシです。
After I found a place to sit, I also took a seat at her desk. Gotta say, her room was pretty darn organized compared to Jinami's.
そうですか。
Yep, so you just leave your telescope sitting out like that.
そうですね。
But won't it get dusty if you don't put it in
た
something?
まに拭いてますから。
Promise we'll use the club funds to buy you a case sooner or
お
later.
構いなく。
Yep, Suzuha gets better soon. Without answering straight away, Aoi opened her workbook and notes on top of her desk.
鈴葉は体が弱いですけど、以前よりは丈夫になりましたから、ひばりが崎に引っ越してから、ずいぶん元気になりましたから。
If someone's quote-unquote nightmare was their weak physicality, would mere reaping it just cause them to be, like, really fit? Because when she reaped... Because when she reaped Asuho, the bookmark, aka her nightmare, the source of her nightmare, just vanished. Does that mean that if your nightmare is your own weak physical body, having Mare either A, having Mare Reaper nightmare means you just fucking vanish, or B, having Mare reap your nightmare is the easiest workout. Ah, so you guys used to live elsewhere? She nodded silently. Yes, that explained why the house seemed new. It sense that they moved here. Just like us, then. So, where'd you used to live at? She flipped the page of her workbook. How'd you move here? She tightly gripped her mechanical pencil with her gaze glued downwards. Kind of felt like I was beginning to get in the way of her homework, so I decided to halt the questioning. Back when I lived in Ibarigasaki as a kid, we lived in an apartment. It was located on the outskirts of the shopping district, which is why I never knew much about the residential area around here. So I couldn't say whether or not Aoi's house had been built back then or not. As a kid, I only ever really went outside to go to school, so I wasn't really all too familiar with the town. Well, I had played at the lookout some time back before I moved, though that was only for around a month's worth in early summer.
先輩、
While I was off in my mind, Aoi looked back from her
ち
desk.
なみさんから聞いたんですけど、勉強得意なんですよね。
Whoops. Well, better grades than that dork, that's for sure.
ここ、わかりますか？
Asking that, she showed me her exercise book. Oh, you're doing factorization, huh? That would be Math 1, of course.
この問題の答えなんですけど、なんだか式が唐突に飛んでる感じで。
There you simply add the variables together because you don't want your equation long and messy. These are symmetric polynomials, so once you get the method for doing them down, they're cake.
対称式って何でしょう？
Nominal. Not nominal. They're basically functions where you can interchange any of the variables and get the same thing.
どうやって解くんですか？
The easiest way, you'll want to order them by the lowest degree and then do this right here through cross-multiplying. Thus, I ended up tutoring Aoi until Chinami was ready to go home. Ow. scratched myself.
ちなみさん、ようさん、ご心配おかけしました。
Today was Friday. Coincidentally, the Suzuha had also completely recovered from her
毎
cold.
日お見舞いに来ていただいてありがとうございました。
それくらいお安いご用だよ。鈴葉ちゃんが元気になって嬉しいな。
一応感謝します。
友達として当然のことだよ。
ちなみさんじゃなくてよう先輩にです。
なんでお兄ちゃんばっかりなんで葵ちゃんに感謝されるの？
I was guessing it was because I also helped Aoi with her schoolwork whenever we came over to visit Suzuha. Well, I guess this means we can all start having dinner together again.
はい、またよろしくお願いします。
She bowed her head.
状況が間に合わなかった。
Aoi had a regretful look on her face. Oh, Aoi, if you're ever having trouble with your homework or anything again, I'll be glad to help you out after dinner anytime.
この際、私の代わりに全部解いてください。
Doesn't that kind of defeat the point?
ちなみの宿題もやってほしいな。
Look, Aoi, is that what you want to become?
ちなみみたいに元気はつらつになれるんだよ。
ある意味幸せかも。私は早くちなみさんみたいになりたいです。
Chinami's esteem was rising in unexpected ways.
鈴葉、そろそろ。学校行ってきます。
Have fun.
いってらっしゃい。
The elementary school is close to the ocean on the other side of the station. It was the opposite direction of Yubari High, so we had to say goodbye here. We had better get going too.
グズグズしてると遅刻だからね。
のんびりと急ぎましょう。
The three of us trekked up the hill. Upon arriving at school gate, we noticed a bunch of students lining up.
あれ？なんだろう。
As I got a better look at the front of the line, I noticed a number of students standing there wearing armbands with the initials SC written on them. Nearby them were numerous long tables, atop which students placed their own respective bags for inspection. I'd seen this exact same thing prior. Student council's doing bag checks again. We lined up at the end of the line.
ひばりこってそんなのあるの？
You don't remember the one you had first semester?
ちなみは知らないよ。
Gotta think of it, I vaguely remember Chinami running past the student council's barricade at light speed last time because she was about to be late.
今時抜き打ちの持ち物検査なんて流行らないのにね。
I think I always said they do these checks once a semester. Oi was gripping her bag tightly against her chest, so I'm guessing you brought them again this
い
time.
つも持ってきてますから。
なに携帯とか？
携帯は放課後以外は使用禁止で、電源を入れなければ持ち込んでもいいって聞いてる。
And that makes sense. She took something out of her bag, which confirmed my suspicions.
それタロットカードだね。
ちなみさん、
何？
今日だけこれ預かっておいて。
お安いご用だよ。
She passed the tarot cards to Chinami. I hate to tell you this, but you're gonna be stopped by the student council if you walk through with those.
ちなみさんは不要物を持ち込んでそうだから、一つくらい増えても問題ないかと。
それは早計にすぎるよ、葵ちゃん。ちなみは不要物どころか必要物すら持ち込んでないんだから。
Chinami's bag was completely empty. While the Holly school supplies.
全部教室に置いたままだよ。
And what in God's name is the point of that book bag? Please tell.
つくばなんて飾りだよ。だからこのタロットカードはお兄ちゃんに預かってもらうね。
The aforementioned goods were shoved into my hands. Now I'm gonna be the one stopped. No one's gonna be the one stopped if you just explain, hey, Astral Circle. These are for club activities.
先輩かちなみさん、どちらかを切り捨てなければこの場は切り抜けられません。
Huh, is it just me or is the owner of said tarot cards not even listening to listed in the choices?
こういう時は最年長の人が監督不行き届けの責任を負うべきだよ。
Jinmi, I'm sorry, but we've been keeping something from you this whole time.
まるでちなみは妹じゃなくて実は姉なんですみたいな言い方だよお兄ちゃん。責任をなすりつけ合う醜い兄弟愛ですね。
The person bearing the most responsibility has no place to be saying that. And so we proceed to play hot potato with the tarot cards.
はい次の人。バッグを開けて机に乗せて。
As we were screwing around, it was our turn before we knew it. Figured I'd see you up here, Izukaki.
何がよ。
I just wanted to thank you for all your hard work.
そう思うなら予令なっちゃう前に急いでバッグの中見せな
Didn't
さ
have
い
any
ね。
dangerous items on me, so I'd be able to easily clear the checkpoint.
これは何かしら。
Tarot cards emerged from inside. Wait, how did those end up in my bag?
それでは失礼します。ちなみたち先に行ってるね。
Oh, and Jinami had already cleared the examination checkpoint from one of the other lines. That's just plain dirty, guys! I thought we were friends!
汚いのは小笠坂くんでしょ。生徒会室で詳しく話を聞かせてもらうから。
See, that's actually my pencil case.
カードがシャーペン。
Precisely.
つまり葵さんの私物なのね。
That was Izukaki for you. Always quick to
小
catch
笠坂
on.
くんは運び屋として葵さんに頼まれたから共犯ってわけね。
I'm just being too quick to catch on for my own good.
それじゃあ生徒会室に来てもらおうかしら。
Okay, I'll comply. So could you please just not confiscate
小
these?
笠坂くんって律儀よね。
Could you let Aoi off the hook as well?
人が良すぎると苦労するだけで報われないわよ。
I know that you're actually a good person too, Izukaki.
バカ言わないで。仕事は公正にやるからね。
I hope you'll show me due mercy. In the end, the tarot cards were taken away, but Izukaki promised to return them after school. It was now lunchtime. Again! These are like fucking... Just say that they're for club activities. Fucking the other ones bring in actual like fucking playing cards. That's not an issue. It was now lunchtime.
学食人いっぱいだね。空いている席はなさそうです。
授業長引いたのがネックだったな。
Being late to the race for cafeteria seats proved to be fatal as the number of seats was only limited. At least the weather's nice today.
そうですね。中庭に出てみましょうか。
Anybody high, we were allowed to take the cafeteria food out to the courtyard.
それじゃあ各自メニューを持ったらここにまた集合ね。
Then dispersed and went to the respective counter with the food we wanted. After that, the four of us made our way to the courtyard. We noticed a large number of students sitting on the benches and on the grass. Luckily, it didn't look like we'd have trouble finding a spot since the courtyard was fairly big.
ようちゃん、中庭で食べるの何度目？
I can still count the number of times on my hands since, it's been a month since I started here.
あれ、まだそんな？夏休みを挟みましたから、学校生活だけを数えるとそのくらいですよね。
その割にすっかり馴染んでるよな。
Might have had the Astro Circle to thank for that.
なんかね、もう入学からようちゃんと一緒みたいな気になってたよ。
そりゃさすがに皆星だけだ。
小笠坂さんが初恋の相手だからでしょうか。違うから。
Hey, that spot over there is free. Let's go
簡
there.
単に流された。
I thought that's what you wanted me to do, though. As you were walking, we ran into a familiar face. The moment you saw me, your expression instantly changed to an expression of, oh crap.
お、葵さんだ。
こんにちは。これからお昼ですか？
Seeing as how she walked this way, I'm guessing she was planning to sit at the spot we had our eyes on. Oh, you ought to curse your luck for running into me here.
何のことでしょう？
We can talk more in detail while we eat.
それでは
Hey, wait, don't run away. Just for your information, I have your tarot cards hostage.
卑怯です。
And tell me how you're one to talk, please.
何の話？
The back check today.
立ち話もなんですから、みんなで座りませんか？不覚です。
As we all sat down, Oe reluctantly followed behind.
そういえば小ヶ坂さん、朝のホームルームを欠席していましたよね。
She looks like a fucking small animal being fed. Well, I got detained by Hizukaki.
そっか、今朝の持ち物検査のせいだったんだ。
お前なんか持ち込んだのか？
It was Aoi's something, not mine. Aoi was meekly sitting on top of her spread-out picnic blanket, meanwhile the rest of us sat directly on top of the grass. Is that picnic blanket yours?
そうですけど。じゃあ葵さん、いつも中庭で食べてるんだね。それほどでも。シートがあると便利ですよね。トレイやお弁当を置きやすいですから。
However, Aoi only has a single sweet bun in her hands. Is that your lunch?
あげませんよ。
Well, I wasn't going to ask for
葵
it.
さん、食べるのそれだけか？
はい。ですから、これを取られると、私は午後から飢えてしまいます。
No, I already said I'm not taking it.
葵さん、小食なんだね。そうでしょうか。よかったら、私のを少しあげますよ。
Cosme put a piece of her sandwich on a small plate and offered it to her.
いえ、いりませんから。たくさん食べないと大きくなれませんよ。自分が大きいからって。
Getting jealous isn't gonna help you get bigger.
訴えますよ。
I'm talking about your height, not your chest, okay?
よし、勝ってる。年の差を考えれば、まだわかりません。
Either way, neither of them even compare to Cosme.
サンドイッチ、食べてくださいね。勝者の余裕ですか。
She ate the sandwich while voicing her complaints.
それじゃあ、私もあげるね。
Asu passes away some side dishes once she had finished wolfing down the sandwich.
いずれ追い越しますから。
She was eating
それじ
again.
ゃ俺も。
送られた塩は受け取ります。
Guess I'm
施
next.
されるのは今だけです。
It really is just feeding a small animal!
ではまた私の番ですね。きっと後悔する日が来るでしょう。私の番だね。
Fucking pouty Aoi being fed.
そろそろもう
次は俺の番か。
いいですから。
And here I have this to
し
finish.
つけされてる気分になってきました。
Exactly. Since we gave you all that to eat, you're coming stargazing with us tonight. As we were finally here at the weekend, tonight's club activities consisted of our usual stargazing session.
本気で餌付けだったんですね。葵さん、お腹いっぱいになりましたか？はい、ごちそうさまでした。
She was done with her lunch before she even touched her own sweet
天
bun.
体観測サボったりしないでね。考えさせてください。もしサボったらあげたご飯は返してもらいますよ。不覚です。
And I'll also confiscate your tarot
ち
cards.
ゃんと出ますから。
We'd emerged victorious.
タロットカードどうなりましたか？
I'm planning to get him back from Izukaki after school.
ありがとうございます。
Just don't use me as a scapegoat ever again.
それはわかりません。
つうか、なんで葵さんの代わりに小ヶ坂が捕まったんだ？
See, I was set up.
はめられる方が悪いんです。葵さん、黒いですね。小雨先輩に言われると釈然としません。
Those two might be cut from the same cloth. You know, just not chest-wise. Are we gonna have a club meeting directly after school today?
天体観測が始まる夜までは自由行動でいいよ。集合時間は7時ですよね。遅れないで部室に集まってね。
Especially you, Aoi.
全力は尽くします。
There was no statement more reliable from her than saying she'd do her best. All of us were already expecting Aoi to be late. As such, none of us could really be upset with her over it.
到着しました。
You were late, Aoi.
全力は尽くしました。
Nobody expected anything else, so it wasn't a big deal. Aoi was holding her telescope to her chest. Should have helped you carry that.
よくありません。
Be free to ask whenever you need any help.
言いませんから、何度も同じやりとりをさせないでください。今度ケース買ってあげるね。いりません。これも何度も同じやりとりをさせないでください。
Also made an disappointed expression.
あつほくん、そろそろ始めようか。
全員揃いましたからね。
Whenever Mare participated, she'd just come and leave as she pleased. With regards to her dispute with Cosme, things had already settled down. As for Izagaki, she was busy with the student council, so she wouldn't be participating for the time being. Setsuna, well, she remained a paper member. So that made everyone.
天体観測まだ始めてなかったんですか？うん、葵さんのことを待ってたから。待ってなくていいですから。そういうわけにはいかないよ。葵さんも部員なんだから。メアさんは待ってないじゃないですか。メアさんに関しては小ヶ坂さんに一任しているんです。
That girl's pretty whimsical and quite defiant, so waiting on her actually makes her less likely to come.
私が目指す立ち位置です。
If you're gonna say stuff like that, you're not getting your tarot cards back.
卑怯です。
Being a little late's fine and all, but do make sure you come every week. I handed away the tarot cards I'd gotten back from Izagaki. Putting down her telescope, she counted the cards to see if they were all there. I didn't mess with them.
みたいです。葵さん、星占いが趣味なんだよね。私も何か占ってほしいな。あなたは将来赤点を取るでしょう。カード使ってないのにどうやって占ったんだよ。それではカードを1枚引いてください。
The card that also drew was the world in the reversed position. Oh Lord.
あなたは赤点を取るでしょう。結局変わってないの？すごいです。百発百中ですね。どういう意味だよ。
Exactly what you said.
私も占ってもらってよろしいですか？
Is the game gonna be fucking funny and give her the moon? Cosme pulled out the High Priestess in the upright position, or not.
あなたは将来ツルペタになるでしょう。そんな占いあるんでしょうか？ツルペタ占いです。自己犠牲が旺盛な占いですね。いずれ目にもの見せてあげます。
僕も占ってくれるかい？
Okaizumi drew the magician in the reversed position.
あなたの本体は知恵の輪でしょう。
比喩としては正解だね。
それでいいんですか？
Okay, what's mine? The card I pulled out was the lovers in the upright position.
訴えますよ。
What? How am I supposed to take that?
葵さん、自分も占ってみたらいかがですか？
Before she could say anything, Cosme snagged the cards with great agility and fanned them out in her hands.
返してください。カードを引いたらお返ししますよ。
Aoi reluctantly pulled out a card. The card she pulled out was the star in the upright position.
あなたは将来テンクルの部長になるでしょう。変な占い 勝手に創作しないでください。
葵さん占いです。
著作権侵害です。でも葵さんが将来の部長候補なのは確かだよね。
葵くんは唯一の1年生部員だからね。
それが何か？
葵さんが3年生になった時、私たちはみんな卒業してしまっているんですよ。
So by that logic, the one who would succeed us would be Aoi. Come next year, we'll need to recruit more freshmen and have Aoi lead them.
葵さんは優秀な部長になります。このタロット占いは100発100中なんですから。
After getting back tarot cards from Kosame, Aoi picked up her telescope.
帰ります。
We were all astonished. Wait, didn't you just get here?
今日がそがれました。
Interested in what exactly? Look, I'll apologize if we upset you. Could you please stay and stargaze with us? Aoi simply stood there in silence for a short while before saying,
うざい。
leaving behind one last harsh remark, she departed from the rooftop.
葵さん、やっぱり怒ったのかな？
It's gonna be a case of, I'm getting out of here. I don't like the fact that there's another liver!
調子に乗りすぎてしまったかもしれません。
葵くんは干渉されるのを嫌うたちのようだからね。
She'd only run away if you chased after her. In that sense, Aoi was a lot like Mare. However, there were some fundamental differences between the two. For example, Mare would come to us on her own if you refrained from chasing after her. But there wasn't the slightest hint of that being the case with Aoi. If we didn't take the initiative and urge Aoi to join the Astro Circle, she would have never joined. Similarly, if we'd never went out of our way to make sure she comes to these stargazing sessions, she'd never show up. If we sit around and don't do anything, then Aoi would only drift further away from us and never come back.
君。
As if filling in for Aoi's absence, Mare now shows up.
来てみた。
We're waiting for you.
帰ってみる。
Wait, I'm kidding. You're free to do what you want, just like you did last time.
じゃあ、行ってみる。葵さんの後だから、メアちゃんが余計可愛く見えるよ。抱きついてこないで。
Panic. As I watched the two of them pushing and shoving against one another, I pondered about what exactly I needed to do to make Aoi a part of this Astro Circle.
またですか。
Yep, you always eat out here, right? It was lunchtime. After we got our food from the cafeteria and walked out here, we happened upon Aoi, who was also walking around looking for a spot.
こんにちは、葵さん。
よろしかったらご一緒しませんか？
金曜と同じメンツになるな。
Guess we'll have to find a place where all five of us can sit.
誰も一緒するとは。ここだったら座れそうだよ。
傾斜もなくて良さそうですね。
天気もいいし、食べ終わったら昼寝でもするかな。
Oh, you won't have a spot to spread out your picnic blanket if you just stand around.
これが数の暴力。
Little by little, Aoi was being dragged into our group. Just a sweet bun
私
again?
の勝手です。
大きくなれませんよ。
一番言われたくない人に。葵さん、私のおかずあげるね。
はいよ、空いてる小皿。
We'll be feeding you again today.
私は小動物ですか。
あらゆる意味で分かってらっしゃいますね。
いずれその余裕を打ち砕いてあげます。
それは楽しみですね。
笑っていられるのも今のうちです。
Seems that a sense of rivalry towards Kosame, primarily with regards to bus size, was bubbling inside of her. Meaning that I'd probably get a lawsuit comment if I said anything, I kept my mouth shut.
葵さん、おいしい？おいしいです。はい、次はこれ。
私はこれを。
じゃあ俺も。
Eat up, okay?
先輩方、自分の分はいいんですか？ 葵さん見てるとあげたくなっちゃって。実は何か企んでいるとか。
純粋な行為ですよ。
We gotta make sure our cute little underclassman grows up big and strong.
死んだらいいと思います。
He was eating unexpectedly heartily.
もうお腹いっぱいです。
The sweet bun still remained untouched.
いらないんだったらもらってやるぜ。
後輩にたかる先輩の図。
食べ物を粗末にしないっていう行為だろうが。
Say, you don't really eat a lot, do you, Aoi?
セクハラはやめてください。
What if that was harassing?
葵さんはいつも中庭で食べているんですよね。
それが何か。
学食では食べないんですか
1学期は学食だったんですけど。
Something happened?
ちなみさんがついてこようとするので、2学期からはここに変えました。
Then Chinumi was probably eating at the cafeteria as well as we spoke. As a brother, it would really make me happy if you could eat with her.
ちなみちゃんも転入してきたばかりだもんね。
友達作りは大変ですよね。
岡県でのちなみちゃんを見る限り杞憂だと思うけどな。
アサルト部長が正解です。
Salt president.
一瞬誰のことかわからなかったんだけど。
Is Chinumi making friends in class?
はい。ああいう性格ですから、本人にその気がなかったとしても、人が集まるんじゃないでしょうか。
And because you most likely have been trying, I imagine that her friend count was skyrocketing. Does that mean she's eating with other people right
お
now?
昼になると、いつも誰かに誘われています。放課後も大抵遊びに誘われています。
Just like at her previous school, it seems that Chinumi was still a prodigy at making friends.
なのに、なんで私に構うのか、いつも疑問です。
Well, see, when Chinumi talks about her friends at home, it's always you, so, like, I basically assumed you didn't have any other friends.
考えられません。ちなみちゃん、葵さんのこと大好きだよね。死ねばいいのに。
内心喜んでいる葵さんでした。
ちょっと大きいからって、いい気にならないでください。
葵さん、男子もいるのにエッチですね。
もう、この話題はやめることにします。
She cannot win!
私もそうしてほしい。
小ヶ坂は続けてほしいってよ。
Don't replace other people's thoughts with your own.
皆さん、エッチなのはいけませんよ。
Maybe she was trying to back me up, but to me it only sounded like she was putting me down as well.
葵さん、今日は放課後、大丈夫？部活ですか？うん。用事がなかったらでいいから、部室寄ってほしいなって。何するんですか？
Something that'll make you very happy?
辞退させてもらいます。
Something that'll make you very
なお
sad?
さら辞退させてもらいます。
What's it gonna take for us to get you to come then?
自分で考えてください。
Okay, I've taken Chinumi hostage. Come to the club room if you value her life.
喜んで辞退させてもらいます。
If you don't come, Chinumi will be joining the Astro Circle.
退部届を私に部室に寄ろうと思います。
Also, mission accomplished.
ようちゃんのバカ
肉を切らせて骨を取っていませんね。
In short, you are at a loss.
なので、私が部室に行くことはないと思う。葵さん、私たちのおかず食べたよね。
もしサボるなら、今すぐ返してもらいますよ。
卑怯です。
お前ら結構悪どいのな。
What's it gonna be, Aoi?
やるしかないか。
Exactly.
先輩を
Which
大
ones?
きい人から順に。
いつでも受けて立ちますよ。
I'll just go ahead and warn you that Kosama is pretty scary with a Naginata.
葵さんの武器はタロットカードですか？
こんなことならもっと練習するんでした。
Practice what? Throwing them like shurikens?
それじゃあ葵さん、放課後は待ってるからね。
来なかったら私と勝負ですよ。
I earnestly pray that it doesn't come to that.
結局部室で何するんですか？
It's a surprise. Aoi was despondent at the time. What? the entire time remaining. Oh, talking is hard.
おはようございます。
Oh, you can.
来なかったらクラスや自宅にまで乗り込んできそうな気配でしたから。
Most wise decision. Oh, I ended up showing up at the club room after school.
葵さん、まずは座って座って。
Also circle around behind Aoi and proceed to push her forward.
何するんですか？いいからいいから。
We sat Aoi down in a nearby chair.
部室の扉閉めますね。
After shutting the door, she locked it.
なんで鍵まで。
ちょっと失礼。
Okaizumi went up to where Aoi was sitting and wiped the desk clean.
一体何が始まるんですか？
You don't need to worry about anything. Just sit back and relax.
そう言われても取って食われそうな雰囲気なんですか？
Want me to massage your shoulders or something?
したら悲鳴あげますから。それじゃあ私たちも座ろっか。
We all took our seats in a circle around Aoi.
囲まれました。
That's exactly the reason why we're sitting like
こ
this.
れでは逃げられません。
Yep, that was our plan.
大声で助けを呼んでもいいですか？
その前に口を塞ぎますね。
No, of course, man. That joke's only going to be going to terrify her out of her mind.
すでに怯え。はいみんな、どうぞ。
Saying that, she took out a package from her bag.
今日はベーグルだよ。食べて食べて。
She put them on the table and opened the package.
お茶もありますよ。
Kosume handed out paper cups and poured tea into them from a thermos. That's the way we wiped the table.
一体何なんですか？
It is tea time! Just think of it as a tea party.
部室でそんなことしていいんですか？
原則として禁止だね。
Well, since we finally got club funding and all.
部活ライフを楽しまなきゃね。これ部費で買ったものなんですか？
材料だけ買ってアスホさんに作ってもらっているんですよ。
いつもやってるんですか？部費が降りるようになってからね。誰かに見つかったらどうするんですか？怒られるんじゃないかな。それだけで済めばいいですけど。
Nobody's gonna find out the door's closed.
じゃあ鍵をかけたのもこのためですか？
Nah, that was so that you couldn't escape.
そろそろ大声で助けを呼ぼうと思います。その前に葵さんも食べてみて。自信作なんだよ。
She held the package of bagels out towards Aoi.
もらっていいんですか？もちろん。葵さんのために焼いたんだから。なんで私？いいからいいから。
Aoi timidly wrapped her fingers around a bagel and brought it to her mouth.
どう？美味しいです。よかった。
餌付け成功ですね。
帰らせてもらいます。
Even though she said that, she stayed put and ate away.
それじゃあみんな食べながら聞いてもらおうかな。
Whoops.
学園祭？
They didn't tell you guys about it in class? The school holds a festival called Hibari Festival in October. Though I myself only heard about it just now during the homeroom announcements.
ホームルームはあまり聞いていませんから。先生の話はちゃんと聞かないとダメだよ。赤点のくせに。赤点でもクラス委員だもん。
それで僕たちテンクルも何か出し物をしようと思うんだ。近いうちに決めるから各自考えておいてほしい。以上、部活のミーティング終わり。
もう終わりなんですか？雑談の方が主だからね。
Everyone's playing Stella Cafe keeps popping up.
じゃあそろそろ。
Hey, don't go home yet.
部活終わったんですよね。葵さん、ベーグルどうぞ。 いただきます。
She nibbled on it like a squirrel.
もうお腹いっぱいです。
She wasn't much of an
お
eater.
昼にたくさん食べたもんね。その分を合わせても少ない方だと思いますけど。
Oh, you don't have a separate stomach for sweets.
迷信だと思います。
胃は感情の臓器と言われるんだ。辛いことがあれば食欲がなくなるし、楽しければ普段よりたくさん食べられる。
気分に左右されやすいということですね。葵さん、甘いものはあんまり好きな方ではあります。
I remember you're particularly fond of soufflés.
じゃあ次はスフレ作ってきてあげるね。お構いなく。それよりそろそろお茶をどうぞ。いただきます。
They are keeping her here with general generosity. But taking a sip, she furrowed her brows.
暑いです。暑いのは苦手ですか？意外と猫舌です。
意外というよりは納得だね。
Yeah, your physical constitution is just like that of a little hamster or something.
屈辱です。葵さん、もう食べない？お腹いっぱいですから。
じゃあ麻生くん、そろそろいいんじゃないかな。
そうですね。私持ってきます。
She went into the reference room next door.
今度は何ですか？
She's bringing out the main entree.
もう一口も食べられないと思います。
Well, you'd probably shatter your teeth if you tried to eat it.
消化も難しそうですね。
Although I tilted her head in confusion, also came back carrying something in her arms.
はい、葵さん。テンクルからのプレゼントだよ。
It was a carrying case. Over the weekend, we all went out to look for a case that matched with the size of her telescope.
私にですか？そうだよ。葵さん、望遠鏡をそのままで持ち運んでるから傷つくといけないもん。
大切な望遠鏡のようだからね。
天体観測の時はこのケースを使ってくださいね。
Also, hands Aoi her own personal case that was bought with our club funds.
ぽい。
Hey, what are you doing? Don't throw it
い
away.
らないって言ったと思います。
Come on, don't be like that. Won't you please use it for us?
結構ですから。
We'll be putting all our hard-earned money to waste. Are you sure you want to do that now?
他の部員が望遠鏡を買った時にプレゼントすればいいと思います。
It's a present specifically for you, though, Aoi.
じゃあ私が陽先輩にプレゼントします。
Feeding her didn't work, apparently.
用事は終わりですか？終わりだけど、それでは失礼します。
Aoi stood up from her seat before also could say anything in protest.
囲まれていて出れない。
You're not leaving. Oh, we'll move. Just that you have to accept our present first. Aoi ducked down beneath the table and crawled through. Your frame is even tinier than I thought.
今に大きくなってキャフンと言わせます。
She put her hand on the door.
開かない。扉には鍵をかけましたからね。早く開けてください。
Sure, just accept our present first.
卑怯です。
So, what's it gonna be?
今日までお世話になりました。
Please tell me why it always ends with me getting killed or you quitting the club.
退部してほしくなかったら鍵を開けてください。
Now we're the ones pressured. Okay, Kosame opened the door for
し
her.
ょんぼりですね。
Oh, it turned to me to say one last thing as Kosame unlocked the door.
先輩方は死んだらいいと思います。
That being said, she then took her leave. Our plan was left a complete failure.
ちょっと強引すぎたかな。少しくらい強引な方がいいと思ったんですけど。
Well, either way, all we did was take her off.
葵くんはなかなかの難敵だね。攻略は難しそうだ。
Probably ought to give her a proper apology later. Hey, Aoi, I'm really sorry about earlier today. I wasted no time in apologizing to her after dinner.
本当に悪いと思ってるんですか？
Yeah, we admit we were a tad bit too pushy and everyone feels bad about it.
わかればもういいです。
You're a kind of person.
そんなことは。
葵ちゃんは優しいよ。ちなみが授業中に寝てるときはいつも起こしてくれるからね。
ちなみさんが寝てばかりいるから先生に頼まれてるだけ。お姉ちゃん、私にもいつも優しいですよ。
Aoi stroked Suzuha's head bashfully. That kindness was strictly limited to her little sister.
それで結局ケースはどうなりましたか？
Just stored it in the reference room for now.
そうですか。
If you ever change your mind, just tell us and it's all yours.
ないと思いますから他の人が使ってください。
じゃあちなみが使ってあげるね。
Knucklehead, you're not even in the club, and besides, you don't even have a telescope.
望遠鏡を持ってるのはアスホ先輩だけですか？
Yep, just her and you.
アスホ先輩はケースを持っていましたから新しく望遠鏡を買った人にあげてください。
But see, I'd really like for you to be the one
も
using
う
it.
いいですから。
Well, you've got another thing coming if you think I'm giving up that quick.
諦めてほしいです。
みんなお風呂沸いたわよ。はーい、すずはちゃん一緒に入ろう。はい。
Jinami took Suzuha by the hand.
待って、
They were stopped by
ちな
Aoi.
みさんと入るのは反対する。
なんで
鈴葉がまた風邪ひくから。大丈夫だよ、お姉ちゃん。
すずはちゃん、風邪はもう治ったのよね。
はい、全開してます。鈴葉、まだ病み上がりでしょ？そんなことないよ。金曜日に治ってもう3日も経ってるから平気だよ。
それじゃあすずはちゃん行こう。
はい。反対だって言ってる。
心配だったらいすずちゃんも一緒に入ったらいいんじゃない？
いえ、それは。
なんならようちゃんもつけちゃうから。
No, please don't use me like that.
先輩は死んだらいいと思います。
What did I even do?
ちなみはいいよ。
Come on, Aoi, why don't you just go in with them?
いつも恥じらうちなみがスルーされてるよ。
私は用事がありますから。
She exited the living room escapingly. I wonder if she was planning to go stargazing at the school. Shion, please make sure Suzu is safe while I'm
出
gone.
かけるの？
Yeah, I'll take care of Aoi.
夜道は危険だからよろしくね。
It looked like we were able to divide our roles fittingly. Aoi. I left the house after changing into my school uniform, and almost with synchronous timing, I found her out in the street. You're going to the rooftop, right?
はい、
I'll come
結
with.
構です。
Aunt Gino asked me to, since you know the streets are dangerous at night and all. Are you still gonna say no to that?
卑怯です。
I'll take that as a compliment.
悪役のセリフですね。
I guess your tendencies rubbed off on me.
心外です。
She started walking, so I followed behind. Telescope in tow, she kept walking at her slow, leisurely pace. I would wish she'd let me carry it one of these days.
また聞いていいですか？
As I was waiting for Oe to finish setting up her telescope, she called out to me, something that was very much a rarity.
どうして 私に構おうとするんですか？
You're a fellow member of my club. There's also the fact that I consider you my friend. Tired of hearing that already?
そうですね。
Mind if I ask you a question
な
now?
んでしょう。
What is your honest opinion of us?
どうって、
Do you consider me and Chinami your friends? Or blank? Instead came flames. Hot! 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 Wait, why are you here?
こら待ちなさいったら
Shortly thereafter, Mayor came too.
なんで言うこと聞かないの？ご主人様には絶対服従だって教えたでしょ。
Mayor desperately chased after Muddle, who was flying circles around the night sky.
早く降りてきなさいってば、カー君。
She was hopping up and down in an attempt to catch him, but she couldn't even graze his feet.
よし、勝った。
I wasn't sure if she was talking about her height or something else, but whatever. Either way, getting joyful over a victory like that was just downright pitiful.
言うこと聞かないと目するからね。分かってるの？目だからね。
Thanks going on here, Mayor.
ようくん、
She's finally noticed me.
それに失礼な子。
Right as she laid her eyes on Aoi, she hid behind me. Playing tag with Muddle tonight?
別に何か加えてますね。あのラジコン。ラジコンじゃない。ドラゴン。
But inspection, it certainly was flying around with some that looked like a piece of paper in its mouth. What's that?
写真。
Where'd you get a
あ
picture?
なたがくれたんだけど。鈴葉との写真じゃないかと。
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
あなたが一緒に写れていったのに忘れないで。
Okay, I'm sorry, so don't press your scythe against my neck.
それでなぜ写真を奪われてるんでしょう。見てたら撮られた。
You were looking at the photo that intently?
悪いの？
She instantly became flustered.
あのラジコン、さっき炎吐いてましたよね。ラジコンじゃないってば。
So, what were you saying, Aoi?
写真、無事でしょうか。
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. Muddle finally descended and landed on Mayor's head.
ここはあなたの巣じゃないの？
The moment Mayor tried to grab him, he flew off again. Don't you think he's only running from you because you're scaring
あ
him?
の子が私を怒らせるのが悪い。
A positive feedback loop.
今、写真をちらっと見ましたけど、半分焦げてました。
Figures.
もう許さない。
Now angrier than ever, Mayor pointed the tip of her scythe at Muddle, who was still flying around.
私の写真、粗末にして。
That photo was really precious to you, huh?
そうじゃない。あの子がしもべのくせに私に歯向かってばかりいるから怒っただけ。
You know, I still have the photo saved on my phone, so I can just print another copy for you.
そうなの？
Sure can. That makes things better.
別に。メアさん、もう追いかけないんだ。今追いかけるところ。
She ran off with her scythe overhead.
早く降りてきなさい。これ以上私を怒らせたらめった刺しにするからね。カー君より先にめった刺しにされたいよね。
She came back our way with her scythe held up. No, my bad. I'll help you catch him, so put the weapon down. The little guy was flying low enough that he should be within arm's reach. Could probably catch him, being as tall as I am. And you two are too short to get him, so just let me handle
余
this.
計なことしないで。私のしもべなんだから。背が低いというのは聞き捨てなりません。
The three of us thus chased after Muddle.
カー君、降りてきなさい。ね。
Bam! boy!
めーん。
Aoi raised her telescope and swung it downwards. Bonk. Plop. She went over to Muddo, who was lying knocked out on the ground, and took him into her arms. Good thing it caught him, huh, Mare?
よくない。私のしもべに何するの。つまらないものを叩いてしまいました。
Aoi polished her telescope.
この子、めった刺しにしていい？
I would advise against doing that.
遅くなるのも嫌なので、そろそろ星見を始めます。
Completely disregarding the situation at hand, Aoi gazed through the telescope.
今がチャンスね。
Hey, stop that! Aoi's sorry!
望遠鏡が傷つかなくてよかったです。反省の色ゼロなんだけど、そろそろ帰ろうと思います。
And not even a minute later, Aoi had finished her stargazing and was already beginning to disassemble her telescope. Mare, I'll give you a new photo the next time I see you, okay?
誰も欲しいなんて。
Well, I'm just giving it to you because I want to.
じゃあ、もらってもいい？
Mado regained consciousness and hopped onto Mare's head.
帰る。
Okay. Sorry she hit you earlier, Mado. Hot! 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 Ah, goddamn, I should have seen this coming!
バカバカなあなたに免じて、その子の無礼は忘れてあげる。
After casting a single glance to Oe, she disappeared in a seemingly bad mood. Shall we go home too?
はい。鈴葉が待っています。
Two of us exited the empty rooftop.
先輩、すみませんでした。
On the way home, Oe suddenly shot me an apology. You mean with Mado? Well, the little guy didn't seem hurt, so it should be
いえ、
fine.
そうではなく、
Seems like she was having trouble saying whatever it was.
メアさんを鈴葉の友達にしてくれたことです。だから、すみませんで、ありがとうございました。
She was trying to express her gratitude? Oh, nah, that's nothing to thank me for.
友達って言葉を簡単に使う先輩には、そんなこと程度かもしれませんけど、鈴葉も私と一緒で、でも私とは違う理由で友達が少なかったから、そんな鈴葉がメアさんと同じで写真を大事にしてるから。
She left it at that and stopped talking. She's sure a lucky girl, huh? Not only does she have two great friends, Chidami and Mare, she also has a big sister that loves her more than the world. It was just a guess, but was that telescope something Suzuha gave you? Nothing about Suzuha's behavior really indicated anything of the sort, but the way Aoi so dearly cherished it made me think it just might
いえ、
be.
これは他の方からもらったんです。
She squeezed the telescope that she was carrying in her chest closer to herself. What was that? It was probably a mistake to ask something like that. I knew she wouldn't answer.
館長です。
Contrary to my expectations, she did answer.
今はもう閉館された宇宙科学館の館長です。
According to what I'd heard, Owen was a member of the astronomy club at that science center way back when it was still open.
閉館した前日、プラネタリウムの最終上映が終わった後に渡されたんです。古くて使わなくなった望遠鏡があるから、よかったらもらってほしいって言われて、もう4年も前の話です。
So this was a parting gift to you because you were in the astronomy club?
そうかもしれません。私はクラブの出席率が一番高かったみたいですから、私は友達と遊ぶ代わりによくプラネタリウムを眺めていましたから。だから館長はこの望遠鏡ともう一つひばり港の屋上の鍵を私に渡したのかもしれません。
was thanks to that key that Aoi was able to make her way up to the school's rooftop every night. Oh, so that's why you got your key.
はい、
But why did the actor have a key like that in the first place?
わかりません。
Must have meant that he was related to Ibari High in some way.
そもそも私に鍵を渡した意味もよくわかりませんから。
But you still took it and used it.
そうですね。
If she didn't have that key, she probably wouldn't be stargazing on the rooftop like she was now.
そう考えると、私は館長のせいで南天の星空が忘れられないのかもしれません。思い出の星空を探すことをやめられないのかもしれません。
Her voice contained neither happiness nor sadness in it. Nevertheless, it wasn't exactly void of emotion. If anything, it only served to reinforce just how complex Aoi's mental state was. I had a goal. It was to get Aoi closer to everyone in the Astro Circle. Tried conjuring up and orchestrating several different schemes with the group, but it had proven to be a challenging task. The girl we were up against would run away if we chased after her, but if we didn't, she'd only drift further away. Every day she came to club, she would always arrive late. And even when she did come, she'd just get up and leave partway through. She'd sometimes show up at our Friday stargazing sessions, and sometimes not. No matter what method of approach we went with, always distance from us didn't budge so much as an inch, and we were left to sit scratching our heads as time ticked on. Though at the very least, she wasn't quitting the club. Really hated to be overly pushy as well, so things might have been all right as they were. One thing that worried me was that she might regret having joined the club. If she wasn't having fun at all, it would be because we weren't carrying out our responsibility as the ones who recruited her.
Aoi-chan,
Oh, would you look at that? The winter uniforms. Morning.
おはようございます。
September had ended, and we now started a fresh new month. Autumn was in full gear at long last, which meant a change in uniform for students of Ibari High. Accompanying this change in uniform is also a change in mood.
ほらほら見て見て葵ちゃん。ちなみのおニューの制服だよ。可愛いでしょ。大人っぽいでしょ。葵ちゃんが望むならこの姿で一緒にご飯食べたり一緒に遊んだり。
一緒に死んだり。
それ心中だけど悔いはないの葵ちゃん。
Uniform looks nice and new too, Aoi.
クリーニングに出してましたから。先輩は転入生だから初めてですよね。
Yep.
みんなでおニューの制服だね。
そして急がないとみんなで遅刻。
Better head on out then. Although we always ran it rather close, we still had yet to be tardy a single time. As we reached the school gates, I could smell that something was going on.
生徒がいっぱい集まってるね。
Another back check.
1学期に一度しか行わないはずですけど。
Seeing as how there was a line formed, we decided to just go ahead and line up.
問題なし。はい、次の人。
Skaki included, the student council members were conducting a check of the students' belongings one by one.
制服のチェックかな。
Today's the first day of the switch, so yeah, could be.
面倒。
For a long hour turn came around.
はい次の人。そこに立ってじっとして。って小笠坂くんじゃない。
Thanks for all the hard work.
どういたしまして。それよりまた遅刻ギリギリなのね。
Would love to, but a certain family member of mine makes that impossible.
葵ちゃんは朝弱いもんね。
身内なんだからそっちのことでしょ。
問題なし。それじゃあ次の人。はーい。問題ないわね。
Is there regulation on skirt lengths or some?
というよりも 間違って夏服で登校してないかチェックするのが主かしら。
わざわざ一人ずつ調べなくてもいいと思いますけど。
あなたみたいな生徒を捕まえるのも目的よ、葵さん。これから生徒会室に来てもらうから。
制服に問題はないと思いますけど。
その前の持ち物検査で問題あったでしょ。小ヶ坂くんに持たせたタロットカード、あなたのものじゃない。
先輩、裏切りましたね。
I just told her the truth.
そういうわけで生徒会室で厳重注意するから。
やめてください。ちなみさんがかわいそうです。
あなたが来るのよ。
葵ちゃんのためならちなみが身代わりになってあげるよ。
ちょっと待って。
そういうわけで失礼します。
Aoi walked off by herself. Izukaki stood there dumbfounded.
先輩、よろしくお願いします。ちなみが葵ちゃんに代わって注意されますから。
ちなみさん、それでいいの？
全然いいですよ。
You really love your friends, dear sister.
それほどでもないよ。
というか、葵さんに注意しないと意味ないんだけど。
ちなみが受けた注意を葵ちゃんにそのまま教えますよ。でもちなみはこれでも記憶容量が限られてるから、なるべく簡潔にお願いしますね。できれば2桁未満の文字数で。
With an exhausted expression, Izukaki let out a sigh.
この子が甘やかすせいで葵さんがますますつけ上がったらどうするのよ。
Treating me as friend, you need to be stricter with her at times.
それはわからないよお兄ちゃん。ちなみはそもそも楽しければ何でもいいからね。
葵さんの代わりに注意を受けるのも楽しいの？はい。
ちなみはこれでもどんなロークも快楽に脳内変換できる機能を備えてますから。
She was sage level hedonistic. Hey, fancy seeing you out here, Aoi.
最近昼休みによく会いますね。
He decided to eat outside in the courtyard on days when the weather was permitting.
寒くなってくると外で食べるの辛くなっちゃうから。今のうちにということですね。
あと2週間もすればここも人気が少なくなるだろうな。
The temperature in Hibarigaseki drops quite quickly as well.
ご飯冷めちゃうし、食べよう食べよ
Like, I'm still surprised that they could have taken the lazy way out with the sprites for side characters, where they just, you know what, we're only going to go up until the week where you can, like, up until the month where you can decide if you want to wear summer or winter uniforms, and then just have the side characters still wear the summer uniforms. They didn't go for that easy solution. They actually went the fucking extra mile. Kind of surprising. Kind of impressive. No way. We all sat down in a circle on top of the lawn that was beginning to grow cold to the touch. Oh, by the way, Aoi, we'll be doing festival preparations in the club room again
う。
today.
知ってます。あと1週間でひばり祭だからね。気合い入れて頑張るぞ。
そういやテンクルは何やるんだ？
自作のプラネタリウムですよ。
We had a club meeting to discuss it, and that was what everyone agreed upon. Preparations had been underway since the end of last month.
それ去年もやってなかったか？
そうだけど、ちゃんと去年と違うところもあるよ。今年は皆さんに南天の星空を眺めてもらうつもりなんです。
At Facet was also something we all decided on as a club. Aoi didn't oppose it either. In fact, we had anticipated for her to be somewhat gleeful about it. Think you'll be able to come today, Aoi?
全力は尽くします。葵さんの全力って波が激しいからわからないよ。みんなで力を合わせてポンチングを頑張りましょう。穴開け作業は目が疲れるので辞退したいところです。
I'm gonna try helping build the dome.
力仕事は腕が疲れるので遠慮します。
In betrayal to our expectations, Aoi didn't seem to be particularly happy about building a planetarium. I couldn't exactly say she'd been active in the preparations thus far. She wasn't any different from the usual Aoi that we were accustomed to.
それじゃあすぐ疲れちゃう葵さんのために、はい、私たちのおかずをどうぞ。
はいよ、俺も。
Well, lead up.
絵付けが始まりました。
While saying that, she stuffed her
大
face.
きくなるためには施しも甘んじて受けます。はい、これもどうぞ。こっちもどうぞ。もうお腹いっぱいです。
As usual, she was quick to get
菓子
filled
パ
up.
ンは俺がもらうぜ。
アスカ君はそれが目的なんだね。
Feel yourself growing any, Aoi?
セクハラはやめてください。
Looks like growing won't go that easy
人の
for her.
体型は食事もそうですけど、遺伝も重要だと聞いたことがありますよ。
What are your parents like, Aoi?
多分標準だと思います。鈴葉ちゃんはどうなの？鈴葉は体が弱いですから。
Didn't we talk about how she was a fast grower a while back?
でしたらいずれ葵さんを追い越してしまうかもしれませんね。姉としてとても困ります。
Okay, that one is a better fucking CG. That's the thumbnail. Just panic face. It might just be so small because of all the growth because all the growth genes went to Suzuha.
そんなことはありません。
She was clearly unnerved.
私は小さい葵さんの方が好きだな。小動物みたいで可愛いもん。先輩と一緒にしないでください。迷惑です。私はどっちかっていうと標準だよ。私はいずれ標準を超えますから。その遺伝子が眠っているはずですから。言うなれば羽化を待つ蝶ですから。
It went without saying that none of us were able to picture what Aoi would look like after her wings had sprouted.
夢は心の栄養ですから、きっと大きくなりますよ。はい、心が大きくなりますよ。私は体を大きくしたいんです。夢を見ることは大切ですよ。そうやって見下ろしているのも今のうちです。
She started nibbling on her remaining sweet
なん
bun.
だ、食べるのか。
お腹いっぱいです。
もらってやるぜ。
放課後にまた食べますから、アサルト部長。
オカルト部長の方がまだマシなんだけど。
ちなみにアサルトというのは突撃や吸収を意味する言葉で、武器の名前などに使われているんですよ。
まあ、アサルト部長でもいいか。
アスカさんも男の子ですね。
Rather, no one here is bothered by the fact that you know random English words like that.
それはとてもしょんぼりですね。
This was why I didn't think anyone was a match for Kusame.
世界で初めてプラネタリウム投影機を作ったのはドイツの会社で1923年のことだ。
It always comes back to the Germans.
それまでは僕たちが今作っているようなドーム型のプラネタリウムは存在していなかったんだ。惑星の模型を作って人や機械が動かして見せるくらいしかできなかったんだよ。
Around when did planetariums start making their way to Japan?
確かそれも古くからですよね。
1937年だね。歴史としてはテレビより古いから当時の人々は感動して盛り上がったそうだよ。
日本って結構プラネタリウムで有名ですもんね。
大きさで言えば世界のベスト5は日本が独占しているんだ。数だと圧倒的にアメリカが多いんだけどね。
プラネタリウムは市販のものもありますよね。
今だと室内用のプラネタリウム投影機も安く手に入るからね。4畳半程度の広さがあれば天井に満天の星空を映し出すことだってできる。
Roll creds. Oh, hold on, wait, wrong game.
だったらわざわざこうして作らなくても部費で買ったらいいと思います。
During after school time, our club has been putting our all into making this planet. Sorry. During after school time, our club had been putting our all into making this planetarium for the Hibari Festival. There was a lot of repetitive work involved, like punching holes in an aluminium bowl to form constellations, so doing it day after day was a bit draining. And to think we did something similar over the course of a night the first semester. Although we did pull it off, I can still see just how crazy we were in deciding to do it.
葵くんこそ南天の星空が好きなら家庭用のものを買って鑑賞してもいいんじゃないかな。
実はもう持ってます。
Huh? You do?
はい、部屋にあります。じゃあ私たちが作った南天のプラネタリウムは何だったんだろう。
Do you still use that planetarium you use?
いえ、押し入れの奥に眠っています。使っていないんですか？はい、微妙でしたから。
その気持ちはわかるかな。ドームを広げないと星空の像はどうしても歪んでしまうからね。
So you can't see the southern sky perfectly if you only project it onto your room ceiling, huh?
そうみたいです。
That was why I decided to join the Astro Circle after seeing our homemade planetarium.
私たちのやったこと無駄じゃないなら嬉しいな。ひばり祭に向けても葵さんのためにしっかり作らないといけませんね。私のためなんですか？みんなのためだけど、その中に葵さんも含まれてるんだよ。
We decided on this because all of us also wanted to see the stars of the southern sky once more.
それじゃ休憩は終わりにしよう。
Let's get back to work, Aoi.
ぽい。
And don't throw the tools away!
なんか飽きました。
What a demoralizing statement.
すみませんが、そろそろ帰ります。葵さん、何か用事？はい。何の用事でしょう？見たいテレビがあるんです。
Seriously.
月曜のこの時間だと人気の海外ドラマかな。僕も DVD を借りてきたばかりだよ。
これから皆さんで鑑賞会ですか？
それは明暗だね。
全然明暗じゃないですよ。見るのはひばり祭が終わってからにしてください。それでは失礼します。
Hey, what up? I stopped Aoi as she was getting ready to leave. Is making the planetarium not
楽し
fun
く
to you?
もあり、辛くもあります。まさしく部活動って感じだね。
Right, so would you please stay and help us build our celestial time machine?
ださ。姉さん風に言うと臭いですね。葵さん、これ食べる？スフレ作ってきたんだよ。そう簡単に餌付けされる私ではありません。
And then she was brazenly nibbling on the food.
食べたんだから最後まで手伝ってね。卑怯です。
If you don't want to miss the show, why not just message Suza to record it for you?
よかったら僕の DVD も貸してあげるよ。
そう簡単に買収される私ではありません。
Yet you brazenly accepted the DVDs.
準備再開だね。疲れたらお茶も入れてあげますよ。遺憾ですが手伝わざるを得ません。
Like this, we were able to get Aoi to participate in our preparations for the Hibari festival. Still, Method may be asking for too much. I'd like her to warm up to the rest of us some more. Though at the very least, it feels like she's slightly warmed up to us compared to when we first met. She was, however, still putting a wall between her and the rest of the club members.
今夜もついてきましたね。
Well, I can't not. I was entrusted with walking with you at night, after all. Despite being so half-hearted during our club meetings, she had a considerable amount of diligence when it came to these nightly rooftop bouts. She also ran the risk of being caught by the security, but nevertheless, she brazenly snuck into the school building night by night and unlocked the door to the rooftop to search for that star in the sky of the south.
送迎なんていりません。
It's dangerous to walk alone. The fact that we hadn't gotten in trouble even once was testament to how severely lacking humanity high security was. Following that train of logic, though, I couldn't really guarantee that the Center school building was
先
safe.
輩は暇人ですね。
Not really.
他にやることないんですか？
Well, I'm here because I myself want to gaze at the
ひ
stars.
ばりが崎の星空が好きだから？
Yeah?
だったら展望台に行ったらいいと思います。
Well, then you won't be there.
いなくて不都合があるんですか？
Sorta, yeah.
どんな？
It's more fun together with you.
ありえない。
Quite possible, I'd say.
セクハラはやめてください。
Literally, how does that count? She'd finished setting up a telescope and now peered through the lens. It was something how I did every single time she came here, but the action never lasted more than a few seconds. After looking through the telescope for a bit, she would gaze up at the starry sky absent-mindedly. Are you searching for the stars of the southern sky?
そう見えますか？
Yeah, that's what I've always thought when looking at you. Even in Barigazaki, it wasn't like those stars were completely out of vision. You have some constellations near the edge of the southern sky that are slightly visible. However, they shine lower, near the bottom of the sky, not brightly overhead like she'd been used to. They by no means took the spotlight of the night sky.
私はもしかしたらひばりが崎で見えるようなこんな南天の星空で満足しているのかもしれません。主役じゃない脇役の星空で満足なのかもしれません。この望遠鏡では南天の星空が輝くのを眺めることはできなくても私は満足なのかもしれません。だからテンクルに入っても入らなくても何も変わらないのかもしれません。
Is that why you don't feel like participating?
そういうことにしておいてください。
Did you get sick of building a planetarium? Do you hate being in the club now?
嫌ではありません。だけど好きでもありません。
Well, you're free to leave whenever you want. We won't stop you.
いいんですか？
Forcing you to come and take part wouldn't do anything for anyone. If there was a problem, then it wouldn't lie with that it would lie with the Astra Circle. It was our fault for not being able to make Aoi feel like she had a place.
言ったと思います。今はまだ退部するつもりはありません。
Can I take that as a good
し
sign?
てもお互い辛いだけだと思います。
So we should try and maintain the status quo?
そうだと思います。
Maybe Aoi was content with just that. And maybe the Astra Circle needed nothing more either. Perhaps I was the only one in this equation who was still left with a feeling of dissatisfaction.
ちょっと席外します。
She headed towards the rooftop door. I thought she was planning to head home or something, but then I saw she left her telescope behind. What's up?
聞かないでください。
Going to powder your nose?
セクハラ。
What do you want? I even went out of my way to change the wording.
嫌がらせかと思いました。
I'll come with you.
やっぱりセクハラ。
I'm not going to peep on you, G.
送迎だったら結構です。
Oh wait, you get scared easily, don't you?
ついてきたら悲鳴あげますから。
Why?
私は幽霊以上に痴漢が嫌いです。
You've had an encounter with a molester before?
どうせ幼児体芸です。
Seems like a no.
でも先輩には触られました。
Those were all accidents.
今度やったら朝の挨拶を悲鳴にしますから。
What kind of sick harassment is this? In the end, now I headed to the bathroom alone. Considering her, though, I wasn't too worried about her making the blunder of getting caught by the security. After the sound of the door closing had subsided, I was once again met with silence. Coupled with it, I now had nothing to do. I was left with only two things to keep me company: the starry sky, plus one more thing. Yeah, of course she couldn't take her telescope along. It was my first time finding myself in this sort of kind of situation. I was extremely stingy about not letting anyone touch a telescope, about not letting anyone use it. This telescope was hers and hers alone. The very telescope was sitting unattended right before my eyes. She really cares about this thing. Even though she carries it around without a case, the telescope was almost perfectly clean. She said that she got it used, so the several visible scratches were most likely there from the beginning. I gently tried to touch it with the tips of my fingers. It was cold and hard to the touch. The lens was aimed above, and I was guessing it was focused. I found myself wondering which star she was looking at. Southern constellation, perhaps? I wanted to know. It was just curiosity, nothing more. I was planning to stop after a quick peek through the lens. My thinking was that even if I walked in at a bad time and caught me in the act, she would forgive me if I apologized. Contrary to her sharp tongue, she was actually a very kind person. He's fucking up right now, isn't he? Her kindness wasn't limited to just Suzuha. It's just that she was the only one she openly showed it to. Only was the girl that Chinami took a liking to. The friend-making genius who had a special eye for people. That was how it all began. That was how it led me to believe that I could become Aoi's friend as well. As we spent more time together, I felt my desire to be a friend increase more and more. I brought my face closer to the eyepiece. Is this really something I ought to be doing if I think of her as a friend? I tried to persuade myself that Aoi would forgive me. I wonder why. I had a sense of guilt that was taking hold of me arise from. The guilty feeling of laying my hands on something I know I shouldn't touch. I peered through the telescope. However, I was not greeted by the starry sky that I expected to see. I did not see light. I did not see anything. All that was there was pitch darkness. I saw black through the lens and not a single color more. Nothingness, not a single thing more. Why? First thought was that maybe the focus wasn't calibrated properly. Perhaps the problem lay elsewhere. Filled with the telescope some, but after a brief inspection, I couldn't find anything wrong with it. Scratching my head, I looked through the lens again. Nothing. Not a single ray of light passed through that eyepiece. Needless to say, not a single star appeared either. Darkness. The only thing one could see looking through this telescope was darkness.
Yo, senpai.
I had already sensed her approaching me. Sound of the door closing, sound of her footsteps. I'd heard them both. Even so, my feet were frozen. Couldn't take a single step away from the telescope. Look, Aoi, I'm sorry. After apologizing, I turned around. To her, it might have appeared to be a hollow apology. Are you mad at me? Her facial expression didn't take on any noticeable changes. She simply walked up to the telescope, uttering nothing as she did.
見たんですね。
Yeah,
望遠鏡覗いたんですね。
that's not exactly right.
何が
Right?
違うんですか？
I mean, that telescope, it's... After a moment of hesitation, I forced out the rest of my words. Can't possibly call that a telescope. Completely broken. I don't know exactly what's wrong with it, since I'm no expert on telescope. But that fact still stands. Can't see any stars with that thing. I guess my first question is why?
何かですか？
Why do you bring along that telescope even though you know full well you won't see anything with it? Why do you gaze through a telescope that only lets you see black? Why? Why did you tell me that you were content with that? Are you saying that this darkness alone is enough for you?
言いませんでしたか？私は天体観測が好きなんじゃないんです。思い出の星空が好きなだけなんです。だから暗闇でも問題ない。どうせひばりが崎からは見えない星空なんですから。
And you're really fine with that?
はい
You're seriously fine with just leaving it at that?
はい。
Aoi!
しつこい。
Aoi packed up her telescope. The only thing I got out of doing that was a growing sense of regret. I had really fucked up this time. Doing this might have caused the distance between us to grow even further. I may just end up leaving the answer circle for good.
私 怒っていませんから。いずれこうなることは知っていたから。先輩に怒ってもしょうがないことだから。だから現状維持です。私たちの関係は何も変わっていないんです。
Picking up her telescope in her arms, she made her way home. Nothing had changed. Our relationship was still the exact same as before. Even though we built the planetarium in the southern sky and showed it to her, nothing had changed. Even though we'd gotten her to join our club, nothing had changed. Even though I finally got her to return my morning greetings, nothing had changed. Even after I got her to start calling me by my first name, nothing had changed. Even after witnessing that smile of hers for the first time, nothing had changed. Even though it felt to me like we were closer now than when we first met, nothing had in fact changed.
先輩、早く屋上から出てください。鍵閉めなきゃならないんですから。
Nothing had changed. The crushing reality I never wanted to acknowledge was that Aoi had always seen me as nothing more than a stranger and still did. That cold hard truth destroyed me on the inside even more so than if she were to get angry and drift away from me. The entire Bari festival has ended uneventfully. The post-festival cleanup, scheduled on the day after, also ended, which means that the students get to take the rest of the day off school. There's also a compensatory holiday to give the tired students time to revitalize. Since she has no homework, Aoi Izuzu had intended to take it easy and spent the entire day lazing about. That said, since she slept in until the afternoon, half of her day is already gone. That posed no problem to her, as she had no plans in particular anyway. She doesn't have the drive to actually do something with her time. Just loafing would do.
そういえば部活があったような。
Something about deciding the club's plans from here on out since the Bari festival ended.
まあいいか。
She decides to skip. Nothing has changed for all Isuzu. Even though her telescope's secret had been found out, everything is still the same. Skipping club meetings on some days and attending on others. Helping out with the school festival preparations on and off. And on the day of the Bari festival, she herself did check out their self-made planetarium that showed the southern night sky. She was dead set on abstaining from participating completely, which resulted in the neglection of both her reception and guidance jobs. On second thought, though, could this really be called the same? Something simple like helping out with their festival program, she ought to have been perfectly okay with doing. Doing just that would not have killed her. Yet even so, she had decided not to. She couldn't. Could say her mood wasn't up to it. Perhaps another factor was that she didn't want to see him. Kokusaki, the medicine upperclassman of hers. If she had shown up, he would have undoubtedly tried to show her the planetarium. There was no mistaking that fact. And of course, she would have taken his bait and gone to see it for herself. Maybe that is what she could not stand. She did not want to move their relationship beyond the position it already was in. She has no need for friends or companions. For if they did become friends, she would only find herself at a loss for what to do. It would only trouble her with needless worries. So in summation, that is her reason for not showing up today. More than likely, at least.
憂鬱。
Why, yes, you are blue. Hair and all that. Haha. What am I doing letting my mood sink on this precious day off? She wonders. She decides to read her own fortune for a change of pace. After shuffling her tarot cards, she cuts the deck and draws the topmost card. It was the Lovers.
最近よく引く。
However, today it was in the reversed position. Drawing a card in the reversed position essentially means that whatever the card symbolizes is to be perceived with negative connotations. Drawing this card symbolizes heartbreak or a shattered friendship. She puts the card back in and shuffles the deck again. She then repeats the process until she eventually pulls out the lovers in the upright position instead. After getting what she wanted herself why she was so fixated on getting the lovers in the upright position. Just about any card in the upright position would have sufficed.
望遠鏡のこと知られたくなかったのかな。
She still could vividly recall the look on his face at that time. That painful expression he wore when she told him that nothing was going to change. Thinking about it now makes her chest hurt. But just a teensy bit. She can't forgive herself for feeling like that. Ding dong! I pressed the doorbell to Oi's
ど
house.
ちら様。
I cheerfully raised my hand to greet Oi as she came out from the porch.
セールス
Why would you even think that?
何か用ですか？
Feel free to feel like coming by the club today?
呼びに来たんですか？
Yeah, it's almost time after all.
すみません。
Busy?
はい。用事がありまして。
Well, not much we can do about that, I suppose.
はい。
What kind of plans, if I might ask?
のんびりする用事です。
So, you're just plain skipping.
そうかもしれません。
I mean, if you don't have anything to do, why not drop by?
そういう気分じゃないので、やめておきます。
Is there no way I could force you?
はい。
If I attempted to cross that line, I'd most likely get away waving her club resignation form in my face. Even though she didn't distance herself despite that I looked through her telescope. Even though nothing at all changed between us after that incident. Nevertheless, she would surely distance herself if I tried to get closer. I wasn't in the hobby of being a pushy person either. Would you mind, though, if this time around I actually tried and went for a more forceful approach? Even if I hated being pushy, I hated this current status quo
何
more.
をするんでしょう。
Dunno, maybe something like forcing you there by carrying you over my shoulders.
全力で悲鳴を上げると思います。
Is there nothing I can do to make you go?
もう、いいじゃないですか。
She coldly brushes me off with those
私
words.
は、退部するつもりはありません。ですけど、積極的に参加するつもりもありません。この際、幽霊部員でもいいんだと思います。それで、テンクルが廃部になるわけじゃないんですから、私が参加してもしなくても、何が変わるわけでもないんですから。
I see.
そうです。
Do you really believe that? Brief pause ensued.
思います。
It was just a guess. I wasn't trying to reproach her. But is that also the reason why you skipped out on the Hibari festival? It was just me being pushy.
違います。
I was just clinging on to the vainful hope that being forceful would maybe change something.
その日は、用事があったんです。
That's so.
はい。
That's a lie, isn't it?
ご想像にお任せします。
I'm heading off to the club.
はい。どうぞ。
Alright then, see you again at dinner time. She gave no reply.
今日、葵さん休みなんだ。
Yeah, it doesn't look like she's feeling well.
ひばり祭を欠席したのも、体調を崩していたせいでしょうか。
She doesn't have a cold or anything, so she should be fine.
大事がないなら一安心だね。
I wasn't sure that everyone could kind of already tell that Aoi was skipping, but there wasn't a single person who called her out for it. This friendly atmosphere was one of the things I liked about our club. In that sense, forcing Aoi to participate was a brain-dead idea, no matter how you thought about
久
it.
垣くんと刹那くんも休みだろうから、これで全員になるかな。
Everyone is starting fucking Catholic Stella! Jesus, calm down!
ミーティング始めよっか。おやつ持ってきてあるから食べながらね。お茶も入れますね。
Why does my elbow hurt? Since we're all still exhausted from the body festival, we decided to take it easy. We're planning out what the club's gonna be doing from here on out, right?
週1回の天体観測の他にも何かやりたいなって。ひばり祭が終わって時間あるからね。と言っても中間テストがもうすぐですよ。思い出させないでよ。あえて考えてなかったのに。
今月末から始まるけど、それまでは時間があるし、11月に入ればまた活動の時間が十分取れるさ。
If we had some sort of tournament to enter, like the sports clubs do, then we'd actually have something to work
コン
towards.
テストみたいなものがありそうですね。ひばりが先になくても他の市で参加できるかもしれません。
だったら天体写真コンクールが最も妥当だろうね。オーロラ写真の有名なコンクールが年末にあったはずだよ。
へえ、オーロラっていうと北欧のイメージがありますけど、寒いところで見ることができるんですよね。
寒いところだけというわけでもない。北極に近くないとダメと思っている人が多いようだけど、日本でだってちゃんと見ることは可能だよ。
Yeah, I see them pop up in the news and whatnot every now and then.
最近は高感度フィルムが簡単に手に入るから撮影もしやすくなってるんだ。だから観測家の間で活動が盛んになって話題に上りやすくなったのかもしれない。
私、オーロラって見たことないな。
That's unexpected for someone who loves astronomy as much as you do.
私って星座専門のとこがあるから、天文には神話から入ったしね。日本でもオーロラを見るのは簡単なんですか？
北欧と違って弱いオーロラになるけどね。昔は10年に1回程度だったのが、技術の発達で年に 2,3 回は撮影が可能になってるよ。
Anyways, I'll be right back. I have returned.
ひばりが崎でも見えますか？
それはわからないけど、調べてみる価値はあるだろうね。
写真撮れるなら撮ってみたいな。
If we make it in time, maybe we could enter it in the contest too.
うまくいけばひばりが崎のオーロラというタイトルで参加できそうですね。それナイスアイディ
今後の方針にはうってつけだろうね。
ア。じゃあまずはオーロラ調べてみようか。
Uncle Ben's here.
私も異議なしですよ。
満場一致だね。
それでは私たちテンクルは今後オーロラについて調査し、あわよくば写真を撮ってコンクールに応募してみたいと思います。
We all clapped.
なんだか燃えてきましたね。
My arms are all scratched up because I helped drag some twigs. We cut off some of the shrubs in the garden to the fucking trailer to bring it out to the collection site, and I have like scratches from those twigs all over my fucking arms. It is highly annoying and very itchy.
私オーロラについてもっとチェックしとけばよかったなって思ったよ。
アスホ君も天文クラブに入っていれば見る機会もあったと思うんだけどね。科学館のプラネタリウムはオーロラを上映することもあったから。
Planetariums can project more than just stars.
そうだよ。北欧のオーロラ上映も良かったけど、南半球オーストラリアのオーロラも趣があって感動したな。
The moment I heard him talking about the southern hemisphere, a single person immediately came to mind. Did I really enjoy seeing those?
だと思うよ。出席率が高かったのだって南天の星空に加えてこのオーロラがあったおかげかもしれない。
南天のオーロラってきっと実際に鑑賞するにも最高ですよね。だって寒さに我慢しなくていいか
オーロラを見るには長い時間外で待たないとだからね。暖かいというのは魅力的だろうね。
一度本場にも行ってみたいですね。
He just hears they showed auroras at the planetarium as well, of the southern hemisphere, and his immediate reaction is, I'm fighting an aurora.
修学旅行はオーストラリアがいいな。
just goes full Phoenix, right? We got to go on a school trip in our third year, right?
ですよね、岡泉先輩。
この春に僕が行った修学旅行先は沖縄だったけどね。
国内なんて今時流行らないのに。
沖縄も暖かくてよかったけどね。
小雨ちゃん、こももちゃんに生徒会権限で海外に変更するよう持ちかけられない？
You might be able to force her hand if you use the usual method.
してもいいですけど、姉さんは不正が大嫌いですので、相当の覚悟が必要になりそうです。
I sure wonder what those extreme measures would be.
それはそうと、オーロラ写真撮影が可能だったら天体観測の時間をもっと増やしたいところだね。
屋上の使用は金曜日だけになっていますからね。やっぱり展望台は使えないか
立ち入り禁止だし難しいだろうね。
な。内緒で使っても姉さんにバレたらまた廃部の危機に陥りますよ。
Yeah, she said she was a supervisor after all.
葵さんに屋上の鍵借りるのは？
We can't see her lending it to us.
貸してくれたとしても姉さんにバレたらやっぱり廃部の危機になりそうです。じゃあいつでも屋上を使用できるようにするしかないのかな。
久垣くんに働きかけることになるだろうね。
Should we let Cosma take care of that?
純潔を奪う覚悟で迫れば確実だと思いますよ。それ脅迫ってことなんじゃ。
Very.
久垣くんが監督ならテンクルは真面目に活動していると納得さえすれば屋上の常時開放を生徒会で打診してくれるかもしれないね。
That shouldn't pose a problem since she had observed us well enough over the summer break. What we need now was a final push.
私姉さんに聞いてみますね。もしかしたらすんなり許可してくれるかもしれません。そうかな。いろいろイチャモンつけられそうな気がするけど。
Either way, the fact of the matter is we'll have to convince Izukaki that we're deserving
今後
of
の
it.
方針が一つ増えたようだね。
Although Inbody Festival had ended, the Astro Circle was still just as busy as always. The only thing missing was Aoi. Honestly, it felt quite lonely here without her.
みんなまた明日。はい、明日からは通常授業ですよね。
集まるのは放課後だね。
He parted ways with Kosama and Okaizumi in front of the station as they were taking the train.
それじゃあ私も帰るけど。
Sure thing. You have to help out the cafe, right?
なかったらようちゃんについていくんだけどな。
Passed my house and came all the way out here because that was a place I wanted to visit.
行ったことないんだよね。
Yep, I think
住
so.
所大丈夫？
I got directions from everyone, so I'm all good. Plus, if I have trouble, I can always just figure it out by the building.
やっぱり私も。
Won't your allowance be taken away if you skip out on helping to the cafe?
そうだけど。
What about I just call you if I have any trouble? That work for you?
もちろん。
Well, have fun with work. I'll drop by and help out whenever I have time.
絶対だよ。
See you tomorrow.
バイバイ。
So, I'd also said goodbye to Aso, although it was a bit reluctant on her part. I then made my way towards the Space Science Center. They said that it was located on the other side of the station. Also that it was close to the ocean side, but the road you had to take was a different one than if you were headed for the elementary school. Ibarigazaki is a commercial sea harbor town that flourished as a trading port a long time ago. A port town, in other words. Near that harbor was a science center that had a built-in planetarium. This is it. I didn't find any signs or such to point me to the right direction, but I'd probably guess was because this place was already closed down. The reason I didn't get lost was because I simply followed the path to the harbor. It was a humble-sized building which sat low atop a large plot of land. There was also a big tower protruding from the center, which I guessed was the observatory. The part with the round roof was most likely the planetarium. Despite its grand exterior, you could easily tell that the building was abandoned by the fact that the courtyard had been taken care of. And if that wasn't enough, there was also a chain running across the gate of the premises. The concrete walls also looked somewhat faded in color, but I wouldn't really call this place a ruin. Apparently the science center falls under the town's ownership, but everyone in the club said that they hadn't heard any talk about them planning to tear it down. Perhaps they were planning to reopen it sometime in the future. I'm sure that would make Aoi delighted. Who knows, maybe she would view it with indifference, like she did with everything else. Now then, I didn't exactly come here with a particular objective in mind. Simply wanted to see the place with my own eyes at least once. The place where Aoi had received that telescope of hers. Thought about taking a look inside if the building was open, but I'd have to have some serious balls to get past that chain. Like the lookout girl, I had to worry about a fair amount of street traffic. Anyone in these cars lining in the intersection would have a full view of me. If I fucked up anywhere down the line, I could possibly have the cops call on me and get arrested. I might have a bit of an easier time if it were dark out. That being said, the entrance to the building was probably locked. I wouldn't be able to do much more than wander around the courtyard, even if I managed to get myself inside the property. As I aimlessly wandered around the perimeter for a bit, I suddenly noticed a person in the distance. I stopped and strained my eyes to get a better look. Their shadow was inside the museum grounds. Huh, that's odd. I had someone affiliated with the place. As I was thinking that, the figure then went on to disappear behind the building. I circled around the outer perimeter in an attempt to look for whoever it was, but it seemed they slipped out of my sight. They might have gone inside, but then again, the front entrance was on the other side. Who knows, perhaps there was more than one entrance to the building. Assuming there was another way in that was unlocked, I could always try to sneak in, but...
不審者発見。
I literally jumped out of my socks at the unexpected voice.
その反応、本気で忍び込むつもりですか?
It was Aoi, and she was staring at me with a flabbergasted look.
せめて私服に着替えた方がいいと思います。でないと見つかったらひばり校の生徒だって特定されますよ。
Wait, have you snuck in this
一度
place
だ
before?
け夜に。
Must have had to really muster up your courage considering how much of a scaredy cat you are.
通報しますよ。
Well, I mean, it's not like I've actually broken in yet, more importantly.
単に通りかかっただけです。
She answered before I even asked the question. Now that you're here, are you gonna sneak in?
忍び込んでも意味ないです。入り口はすべて鍵がかかってましたから。
Hearing that only made me wonder even more where that mysterious figure disappeared off to. Didn't you need something here?
違います。
And where are you headed to?
先輩には関係ありません。
She walked off. I also followed behind.
なんでついてくるんですか?
I'm just going the same direction as you.
私の後ろを歩いてました。
Just plain coincidence.
そうは思えませんでした。
You're just imagining things.
先輩もどこかに用事ですか?
I suppose so.
どこですか?
It's none of your business, are we?
真似しないでください。
You're just imagining things.
死んだらいいと思います。
After spinning to face forward again, she started walking off. I also headed in that direction. After a while, we arrived at harbor.
ついてきてるじゃないですか。
Whoa, talk about coincidence.
まだ言いますか？
Say, do you come here a lot?
関係ないです。
As for me, I've actually never been here before.
誰も聞いてませんから。
This place was just as desolate as a science center. There were no signs of life, neither near the warehouses nor on the docked ships. It really made you wonder whether anyone actually worked here.
この港、初めてなんですか？
Nope, not once.
昔に住んでたんですよね。
Yeah, but I wasn't really the kind to go outside and explore. Accordingly, the only thing I knew about this place was that it existed. But man, it's kind of creepy how deserted this place is.
釣りをしてる人を見かける時もあったんですけど。
It's gotten seriously chilly out here as of late. I imagine that would make fishing pretty hard for people. As if on cue, a strong ocean breeze blew in from the sea. Holly held her hair down in place. Well, not that I planned this or anything, but it looks like we're alone now.
何かしようとしたら大声あげますから。
Yeah, will anyone really hear you though?
もしもし、警察ですか？
Why are you calling the cops already?
冗談です。
Always eyes turned towards the horizon where the sun was sinking
先
under.
輩はきっとちなみさんと同じで、人が本気で嫌がることはしないと思いますから。
The sunset made me recall the scenery at the beach. Didn't you not want me to follow you here in the first place?
やっぱりついてきたんですね。
I'll leave it if I'm bothering you. I'll leave if I'm bothering you any. No response came. Said the words that next left her mouth were something else
私
entirely.
は以前からここによく来ていましたけど、海水浴以来もっと来るようになりました。夕方を待って港を訪れて光る水平線を見ることが多くなりました。
An impressionable sunset landscape, even if the surroundings were to be painted in the black night, so that neither the sky nor the sea remained. The horizon line alone would still retain its faint glow. That is, the afterglow which divided the world in two. The border that separated her and me.
この風景はどこか南底の星空に似ているから、私が好きな星空に似ているから、オーロラに似ているから。
It wasn't exactly that she was opening up to me. Rather, it felt as if she were asking me to stop meddling in her affairs in exchange for telling me this. She simply stared off at the ocean without saying a word. Her eyes glued while thinking about the world that lay on the other side of that shimmering horizon, on the other side of the bounding line. Her eyes... What? Oh, fucking gosh. The world of the southern hemisphere, and the southern sky that hung above it. A world that didn't exist here within Yobarigasaki. Specifically, what she longed for was the sky that gleamed with an aurora, a sight that couldn't be achieved with any homemade planetarium, something that couldn't be produced through the Astro Circle's power alone. And then he fucking did it.
お姉ちゃん、そろそろ時間だね。先輩の家？うん。りょうさんとちなみさんのうちで夕ご飯。どうかした？お姉ちゃん。今から支度するから。うん。下で待ってるね。
Even after Suzu exited the room, Izuzu's face still remained cloudy. He said something similar to her just a while ago, on their way home from the harbor, just as they were about to each go to their respective house. I guess I'll be seeing you at dinner after this, he had said. If doing so was a routine part of their everyday lives, he took the same approach even when he came to inviting her to club meetings. That became the norm, including the two of them, and the Kusaka family's happy circle became the natural thing to do.
そろそろいいよね。
Maybe it's time for her to back out. But until now, she was tagged along because she was uneasy about leaving her younger sister Suzuha alone. But at this point, she's already become like a part of their family. She can trust them with her younger sister. And above all, she feels like continuing down this path would be dangerous for her. At this rate, not only Suzuha, but she herself would change. Spending time with Yo and Chinami would become second nature to her. She would no longer question it, or go against it. Being with everyone would become her daily life. And that future scares her. She's only all too acquainted with the end result of becoming too emotionally attached to something. The pain that ensues when it,
置かないと。
pain that ensues when it all comes crashing down.
距離置かないと。
She needs to take an adequate distance from the two of them. She needs to separate herself from Mio. It is something she has to do unless she wants to feel that pain again.
もう嫌だから。
So that she can incessantly tell herself that nothing has changed, even if her everyday life is torn to shreds. So that she can live her life just like she always has. So she won't have to cry those tears ever again. For those reasons, Izuzu can't allow herself to get close to him.
ここで食べる夕飯は今夜限りにしたいと思います。
After we finished eating dinner, those words were sprung upon us out of nowhere.
そういうわけで今日までお世話になりました。
She bowed her head.
じゃあ明日からは葵ちゃんの家でみんなでご飯？
そうじゃない。みんなと一緒に食べるのはおしまいってこと。お姉ちゃん、どうし…鈴葉はこれまでと同じでいいから。
葵ちゃんもこれまでと同じなんだよね。
違う。私はもう来ないから。
なんで葵ちゃんが来なかったら、ちなみいつまで経っても夕ご飯食べられないよ。
私が来なくても食べてればいい。
それは難しいよ、葵ちゃん。今となってはちなみは葵ちゃんの顔を見ないとご飯が喉を通らないからね。
よし、これで餓死。
その笑顔は眩しすぎるよ、葵ちゃん。
Are you serious about this, Oe?
聞いた通りです。明日から先輩方の団らんにはお邪魔しませんから。お姉ちゃん。鈴葉はもう一人でも大丈夫だよね。
Suzuha was at a loss for words. Oh, why? That's so
も
sudden.
ともと私はお邪魔する気はなかったんです。だから急じゃありません。
Did we do something to upset
何
you?
のことですか？
Like how I always follow you and stuff. Starting from when she joined the Astro Circle, I followed her. She was stargazing on the rooftop, and today as well, to the harbor.
自覚あるのにやめませんよね。
I guess, but if doing that upsets you, I'll apologize, so look.
もう決めたことなんです。それに先輩のせいってわけじゃありません。そもそもが変だったんです。お隣だからって団らんに加わっていたのがおかしかったんです。だからそれを普通に直しただけ。普段通りに戻しただけ。何も変わりません。何も変わっていないんです。
She repeated those words almost as if she were trying to convince herself. Sure enough, I couldn't deny that she had a point. Whenever I tried to get closer to her, she would only distance herself from me by the same amount. After I looked into her telescope, she did not participate in the Body Festival. And after getting to hear about her past, she ended up saying that she wanted to stop eating dinner with us. It all nets to exactly 0. Thus everything would remain the same. Just as separating us would stay the exact same. And that fact alone was what hurt more than anything else. Who knows? Maybe it's not something I have control over. Maybe in the end, Aoi and I just weren't meant to be friends.
いすずちゃん。
Having finished washing the dishes, Onchino came over. Is she gonna fucking school her now?
もし気が変わったらいつでも言ってね。小笠家一同待ってるからね。
待ってなくて結構です。
待ってるわ。
迷惑になりますから。
ならないわ。それでいすずちゃんが迷惑に感じることだってないのよ。見返りを求めてるわけじゃない。そうしたいからそうするのよ。だからたとえいすずちゃんが二度と私たちの団らんに加わらなくたって誰もいすずちゃんを責めはしない。
Oh, I caught her breath.
それが家族というものでしょ。それが友達というものでしょ。それが好きになるってことでしょ。
I wanted to get closer to Oe. It wasn't something I desired because I thought I'd get anything in return. But nonetheless, these feelings of mine bordered on self-satisfaction. Perhaps it was okay for me to just admit it. I was beginning to develop feelings for Oe. Regular classes resumed today, so after waiting for school to end, we then met up in the club room.
小雨から聞いたわ。屋上の常時開放を頼みたいんだって。
Yeah, I think you can get the student council to approve it.
却下。
なんでだよ。
私が決めたから。
応募反対。こももちゃんかっこ悪い。
うるさい。週1回は使わせてあげてるんだから、それで満足しなさいよ。
私たちは毎日使いたいんだよ。
わがまま反対。皆星さんかっこ悪い。
わがままじゃなくて当然の権利だよ。
とにかく常時開放を認めるわけにはいかないから。
Well, unleash Cosimo if you don't approve it.
すみません姉さん。こんな形で奪うことになってしまって。
一体何を奪うのよ。言わないでいい。
姉さんが大切に守っている書。
言わないでいいって言ったで。
ごめんね、こももちゃん。
誰もあげるなんて言ってないし、登場されるとムカつくのよ。
部員の女子比率が高いせいか、男の僕たちには肩身が狭い話題がよく出るな。
That happens a lot during lunchtime too.
それでは姉さん、覚悟はよろしいですね。
待ちなさい。だいたい女のあなたがどうやっていい、言わなくていいから。
墓は難しいですが、気持ちよくして最後に頼む
から男子もいることを忘れないでくれる。
The two guys in question were sitting back and sipping tea.
ついに姉さんとあらゆる一線を越える日が。
だから待ちなさいってば。屋上の件は別に意地悪で言ってたんじゃないんだから。
そんな事情はもはやどうでもいいんです。
すぐ手段と目的入れ替えるのやめてくれる？
じゃあこももちゃん、屋上の使用を認めてくれるの？
Izakaki heaved a sigh. Honest to God, they haven't fucking explained the why. Just give her the why!
いい？1学期は立ち入り禁止だったのが、2学期からは週1回の開放を許可してあげたでしょ？それ以上求めるのもあなたたちにとっては当然なんでしょうけど、そんな急には無理なのよ。部になったばかりなんだし、誰も納得しないわ。先生方も、私たち、生徒会役員も。
そこをこももちゃんが非合法に押し通すんでしょ？
私が不正担当みたいに言わないでくれる？
Oh, Izakaki, what can we do? What can we do to get you to agree?
納得できる材料を揃えるしかないでしょうね。
それは何だい？
テンクルが部活動としてひばり校に貢献してるかどうか。少なくとも真面目に活動しているところくらいは見せないといけないでしょうね。十分とは言えないわね。
それ以上となるとどうすればいいんでしょう？
手っ取り早いのは大会やコンクールで優秀な成績を残すことでしょうね。
Well, we kind of wanted more rooftop access so we could enter into a competition.
あなたたちそういうの出るんだ。
Yeah, exactly! Mention that! Right now it just looks like you're just selfishly want more rooftop time. Mention the fact that you're trying to enter a contest and are therefore attempting to get more chances to get a fitting subject. God, why do you all... why are these people sometimes so stupid?
ひばり祭も終わったし、次の目標が欲しかったからね。姉さん、先行投資という意味でコンクールのために屋上の常時開放を求めることはできませんか？
He's cocky folded her arms.
説得の材料にはなるかもしれないけど、信用性がないから無理じゃないかしら。
なんで信用性がないんだよ。
We made a planetarium everybody festival, didn't we?
それでひばり祭大賞を取ってたら文句なかったけどね。
Grand Prix was awarded to the undertaking that stood out the most at the festival. As a bonus reward, the winners also got an increase in their club funds, or so I'd heard.
演劇部や軽音部の出し物と違って地味ですから、賞を取るのは難しいんですよね。それでもあと一歩ってところだったのにな。
Skaki, after observing what we do, you concluded that there weren't any problems and that we take our club seriously, right?
そうね。それが
And can't you at least give us a little future investment?
活動自体に問題はないけど、他に問題があるから。どこにあるんだよ。部活の出席率ね。あなたたちは違うとしても不真面目な部員もいるじゃない。
それを言ってしまうと姉さんに責任がありますよ。
私の欠席はちゃんと理由があるじゃない。
生徒会の仕事が忙しいからだよね。
At least give us a break with Mayor.
メアさんはひばり校の生徒じゃないし、出席率をうるさく言うつもりはないわ。
じゃあ、あとはせつな先輩と。せつな先輩は3年生ですし、受験や就活のために忙しいということにしていただけませんか？
そうは見えないんだけどね。まあ、理由としては正当かしら。
In that case, the only offending club member remaining was... Really? Let's use the rooftop. We can stop our way from skipping.
説得材料にはなるって話よ。
葵さんを構成したら、常時開放をお願いしますね。
確約はできないってば。
I'll unleash Kosame on you if you don't guarantee it.
一人でお風呂に入る際は気をつけてくださいね。
何に気をつけるのよ。言わないでいい。
背後からそっと胸を
だから男子の前でやめてくれる？
ごめんね、こももち
ゃん。あなたたち、私を怒らせるたびに不利になること、いい加減気づきなさいよ。
And as always, he's a cocky filled the role of getting teased. Nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, we'll work on our way, so make sure to hold your end of the bargain too.
廃部にさせればいいのね。
小雨ちゃん、姉さん、お覚悟を。分か
ったから、全力は尽くすから。
I like how those words held a lot of weight coming from Hisaki's mouth. That's quite reassuring.
そろそろ生徒会に戻るわ。
姉さん、お疲れ様でした。
後でお仕置きだからね。
はい、うっと
り。Izukaki held her head in agony and left the room.
となると、当面の問題は葵くんの出席率だね。
Like, I really want to, yet at the same time don't want to know what the fuck that punishment is supposed to be. It's more like a morbid curiosity where I feel like I will not like what I've learned. Oh well.
今日も来てないけど。
I live right next door to her, so I'll ask her later. I'll also bring up the matter of the rooftop and see how that goes.
まずは小ヶ坂さんにお任せですね。手伝えることがあったら何でも言ってね。
The real question here was how in hell was I going to persuade Aoi? I learned from experience that being forceful only results in her increasing her distance. But if I wasn't a little bit forceful, nothing at all would happen. What happened? Problem I had to think about was how exactly I was going to formulate my game plan.
葵君は難敵だし、よく考えて行動すべきだろうね。
Senpai, would it be possible for us to make a planetarium that can project auroras?
オーロラを再現するのかい？
That's what I was thinking. Apparently, Aoi likes the southern auroras.
南天の星空を見ているのならオーロラだって目にしているんでしょうね。いいな、いいな、羨ましすぎるよ。勧誘と同様プラネタリウムで釣る作戦ですね。
The way she worded that was a bit questionable, but pretty much summed it up.
でも科学館のプラネタリウムだったら可能だろうけど、自作でオーロラって見せられるのかな。
できないこともない。オーロラに似た光を映すインテリアライトと組み合わせるとかね。ただはっきり言って出来は期待できないね。ただの星と違ってオーロラの色彩は自然だからこそのものだ。それなりの設備を用意して初めて本物に近づける。自作のものじゃ葵くんも納得しないんじゃないかな。
もしかしてようちゃん、それで科学館を見に行ったの？
Not quite. I met Aoi there when I went to visit, and it was only after that I heard about her liking auroras.
閉館しているのに訪れるくらいだ。よほど科学館のプラネタリウムに思い入れがあるんだろうね。
It only reinforced just how strongly Aoi missed the ever so distant starry skies of the south.
いっそのこと科学館でプラネタリウム観望会ができたらいいのにね。
閉館していても設備が生きているなら使わせてもらいたいところだね。
テンクルで準備できれば葵さんにとってはこの上ないプレゼントになりますね。ケースも受け取ってくれると嬉しいな。
How was the science center even closed down in the first place?
公式では何も知らされていないね。市の判断だったことくらいかな。
建物が残っているということはまだ開館の可能性も残されているんでしょうか。
It might be worth trying to negotiate with the town hall one day. Actually, I should do that as soon as possible. Nothing would change if we just went back and forth all day about it. If we really wanted to get closer to Aoi, then now was not the time to be lazy and idle.
じゃあさ、これからみんなで聞きに行こっか。
Sounds like a plan. Let's head to the town hall.
じゃなくて私の喫茶店に来ない？
I'm not all that hungry right now.
そういうことじゃなくて
After that, also said,
うちのお父さん昔は科学館に勤めてたから。お父さん喫茶店始める前は天文学者だったんだよ。
Who would have thought? Indeed, who could have possibly known? I know it's one of the reasons behind the naming sense of both the dishes on the menu at the cafe itself.
それで科学館に勤めてた時期もあったんだよ。ようちゃんには言ってなかったと思うけどね。私も初耳ですよ。あれ、そうだっけ？
僕は知ってたよ。クラブに所属していた時に何度か会っているから。
アスホさん、自分からは誰にも話してなかったんじゃないですか？普通に知ってるものだと思ってた。
In any case, having somebody this close to us, close by, who used to be affiliated with the science center was definitely reassuring. Mysterious person I saw yesterday at the science center might have been him as well. No.
この時間だとお客少ないし、お父さんも暇だからいろいろ話聞けるんじゃないかな。
We all entered the Milky Way with Aso leading us.
科学館が閉館した理由？
We wasted no time in asking Aso's dad, who was reading a newspaper at the counter. Yeah, we heard that he used to work there a long time ago, so we thought you might know something.
閉館の理由は維持費がかさんで採算が取れなくなったからだよ。
Facts came to light rather easily.
夢も希望もない理由だね。 子供に夢を与えるにもお金がないと難しいんですね。
館長が辞職したからという理由も聞いたことがありますが。
そっちはただの噂だね。人前に出たがらない館長だったから辞職しているんじゃないかと住民が勘ぐったんじゃないかな。
Asu's dad flashes an embarrassed smile.
ひばりが崎には昔から天文台が立っていてね、公害がなく空気がきれいという理由からなんだけど、それから隕石が落ちたという経緯もあって住民の天文熱が高まったんだ。それを契機に市は天文台を宇宙科学館に建て替えた。
昔って展望台だったの？あそこ高台じゃないよね。
あの辺りは今では市街地の一部だけど、昔は公害のない暗い場所だったんだ。だから平地でも問題なかった。そして宇宙科学館が開館するとプラネタリウム観望会を筆頭に当時は大いに盛り上がったそうなんだけどね。
今の子供たちは天体観測よりも他の遊びに夢中ですからね。テンクルの部長としては悲しいですが。
それでついに4年前に閉館したのか。
Is there any talk of opening the place up again?
今のところはないね。採算が見込めない限り市は動こうとしないんじゃないかな。
民間の企業に任せることも難しいんでしょうか。
どうだろうね。不景気と言われ続けてそれがもう普通になってる社会だからね。
Then why aren't they tearing it down?
取り壊すのにもお金がかかるから放置してるんじゃないかな。
This conversation really highlighted how tough of a world we lived in.
建物の中に機材は残ってるんですか？
一部は企業に買い取ってもらったり他の自治体に譲渡したそうだよ。残っている機材といえば
He pondered for a bit.
投影機くらいのものだろうね。
投影機？
プラネタリウムのですか？
そうだよ。古いものだったせいかどこにも引き取り手がなくてね。投影機の仕組みは複雑だからあまり古いものだと整備できる技術者が限られてしまうんだ。
Well, it's probably left to in the science center because nobody could find a qualified engineer who could work on it. For us, though, that was a
博物館
godsend.
に寄贈の話も上がったんだけど科学館の職員の反対もあってね。まだ使えるのに展示には早いって。だから今は館長が一人で整備を続けてるんだ。定期的に科学館に足を運んではね。
じゃ
Asu's face lit up in a flash.
あお父さん、科学館のプラネタリウムってまだ使えるの？
投影機が生きているならドームスクリーンに星空を映し出すことは可能だろうね。
And the director of the science center was protecting the projector even to this day.
これは案外うまくいくかもしれないね。
その方に頼めばプラネタリウムを使わせてもらえるかもしれません。お父さん、館長さんに連絡って取れ
みんなプラネタリウムを使いたいのかい？
る？いいから連絡取れるの？取れないの？
最近会ってないけど連絡くらい簡単だよ。
The chance we'd been searching for was finally here. A chance to once more shrink the distance between us and
プラネタ
Aoi.
リウムの使用が可能だとしても僕は賛成しかねるけどね。
なんで？
Gaze fixatedly at Asuko.
お父さん、私が天文クラブに所属するの反対したけど、またそういうことするの？
He gave a bitter grin.
ひばりが崎の宇宙科学館は閉館した。それでも閉館セレモニーでは住民だけじゃなく他の市からも天文ファンが詰めかけた。最後のプラネタリウム観望会は全客席が埋まる盛況ぶりだったんだ。それを一番喜んでいたのは他ならぬ館長だったはずだからね。
Continued
君ら
on.
の話をすればあの人は多分喜ぶ。だったら止めることはできないのかもしれないね。
After we all went our separate ways, I decided to pay Aoi a visit at her home. To inform her about the discussion we just had, about how we might be able to see the planetarium at the science center in action once more. We all humbly gave Asuo's dad our thanks and asked him if he could get a hold of the director for us. Not answering. There was no reply after I pressed the doorbell. Guess no one's home. Or maybe she was at our house. Though she did say that she wouldn't be eating dinner with us anymore, so probably not.
お姉ちゃん、家にいないんですか？
Didn't seem like it. Any idea where she might have went?
すみません、知らないです。
葵ちゃん、夕飯に来ないのかな？
私、何度も誘ったんですけど。
I headed for the hallway.
お兄ちゃん、出かけるの？
For a bit.
もうすぐご飯だよ。
Tell Aunt Chino you guys can go ahead and start eating without me. Aunt Chino was making dinner in the kitchen. Just as Chino said, judging by the time, she should just about have her dinner ready in a little bit.
もしかして、お姉ちゃん探すんですか？
Yeah, I think I know where she might be.
見つけたら絶対連れてきてね。今日はちなみも料理手伝ったんだから。
Tell Aunt Chino I'm not eating.
そろそろちなみの腕を信用してほしいよ、お兄ちゃん。
私は楽しみです。ちなみさんのお料理初めてですから。
Come on, Suza, let's go look for our way together.
それは難しいよ、お兄ちゃん。鈴葉ちゃんはちなみ主催のめくるめくディナーツアーに招待されてるからね。
A dinner gala hosted by you sounds like the balls dropping on everyone's life.
行き先は天国じゃないよ。
Right, they go straight to hell. Glad we're on the same page.
ちゃんと現世に戻ってくるんだよ。
Suza, have you ever had an out-of-body experience before?
そういう意味じゃないよ、お兄ちゃん。
あらあら、ダメよ、ようちゃん。ちなみちゃんだってお料理上達してるんだから。
特に今日のは自信作ですから。
とっても美味しいカフェゼリーだったものね。
はい、ちなみ自慢の卵焼きですから。
Not only did you wind up making a completely different dish, you somehow managed to change the texture on top of that.
ご飯の用意できてるわよ。
とっても楽し
Well, Shinami and Shino had deficient taste buds, so it seemed the possible casualty I'd have to worry about was poor Suzuha. Aunt Shino, please make sure Suzuha stays alright. And I mean that literally.
大丈夫よ。料理は愛情なんだから。
Had a feeling that Shinami's natural cooking non-ability was powerful enough to erase any sort of impact love might have had, but what's done was done. So I just have to pray that Suzuha came out unscathed. Ibariai's gates were still open. Possibility that way might have been on the rooftop crossed my mind, but I instantly dismissed that thought. There were no stars in the sky yet, hence Oe wouldn't be here. Passing by the station, I saw the silhouette of a person off into the distance. The moment I walked by the front of the science center, it wasn't Aoi, and furthermore, the shadow was inside the science center grounds. Followed the figure with my line of sight for a while, but they soon disappeared. I had no idea who it was. Also, his dad, perhaps. Maybe it was someone else. Most likely the aspect I could think of was the director. I then proceeded to head towards my destination. On my way there, the bright orange sky became coated in a deep blue.
一足遅かったですね。
Aoi looked off into the indigo-colored ocean as she held down her hair from being blown about by the sea breeze.
ちょうど水平線が見えなくなったところです。
That's unfortunate.
惜しかったですね。
Well, I didn't know you was crying over it, you know. I can always see it another time.
そうですね。
That also holds true for the skies of the southern hemisphere. Speaking of which, he spoke melodramatically. If I were to tell you that I could show you that sky, what would you do?
どうもしません。
Come on, don't say that. At least give it some thought.
考えてみました。
Your answer?
余計なことしないでいいです。
So it's hopeless, huh?
はい。
Even though the horizon had long since lost its glimmer, her eyes still stood fixated
南
on
天
it.
のプラネタリウムはもう作らなくて結構ですから。
Well, we weren't going to do that. The southern sky I'm wanting to show you is a lot closer to the real thing.
よく意味がわかりません。
Say, Aoi, you liked the Science Center's planetarium, didn't you? She scrunched her eyebrows.
まさか科学館のプラネタリウムで見せてくれるんですか？
And what would you do if I said yes? She fell back into silence.
どうもしません。
Please give it some thought. Don't just write it off so quick.
考えてみました。
Your
余
answer.
計なことしないでいいです。
Well, that certainly hurts to
は
hear.
い。
What's the planetarium at the science center like? The cool ocean wind continued to rub the warmth from our bodies each time it blew past us. It drifted off into the distance. Can you tell me?
別に普通のプラネタリウムだと思います。
Well, to tell you the truth, I've actually never seen a real planetarium before.
そうなんですか？
Nope. I would have thought that up.
はい。だって先輩は星が好きみたいですから。
Well, it's more of a recent thing. Joining the Astro Circle was what skyrocketed my enthusiasm. I wasn't always like I am now. Perhaps I was once the same as Aoi. For her, stargazing was something she did not have out of any passion for astronomy. In the same vein, I initially joined the Astro Circle, not caring too much about the stars. But a real planetarium projector is several times cooler than the ones we made.
そうですね。
I've seen one, so... You've seen one, so what's it
宇
like?
宙です。
In response to my question, she stated those words plainly.
あの中には宇宙が入っているんです。科学館の閉館セレモニーが行われたあの日。
Little Bappy Isuzu.
私はプラネタリウムの最終上映が終わってもまだ帰りませんでした。周囲の闇が照明で晴れても、観客が列をなしてドームの外に出て行っても、ずっと動けなかったんです。名残惜しかったからだと思います。これで終わりだなんて考えたくなかったんです。私は立ち尽くすしかなかった。私は泣くしかできなかった。泣くしかできない自分が悔しくて、涙が止まることはなかった。だからかもしれません。そんな私を見かねて声をかけてくる人がいたんです。その人は科学館の館長だと名乗りました。私は天文クラブに入っていても、これまで館長の顔を知りませんでした。私だけじゃなかったと思います。館長は人前に出るのが苦手だそうで、閉館セレモニーでさえみんなの前に姿を出さなかったんです。なのにその時、いいものを見せてあげるって言ってきたんです。最後のとっておきだって泣いていた私をあやす意味だったんだと思います。館長は私をプラネタリウム投影機の台座の前まで連れて行きました。上映中は投影機の姿は暗いからわかりません。上映が終わっても席からは離れている場所にあったから遠目でしか見ることができませんでした。ドームの中心に置かれたその黒い機械は天井の照明を受けて鈍く輝いていました。まるで星空を仰ぎ見るかのように。投影機を見たことのない人にそれがどんな形かを説明するのは難しいと思います。一番近いのは地球儀かもしれませんが、間近で見るともっとゴツゴツしてるんです。これがどうやって星空を映すんだろうって私は不思議でたまらなかった。そんな風に思いながら機械をペタペタ触っていたら、館長は言ったんです。この穴から中を覗き込めるって。投影機の中には宇宙が広がってるって。私はそこに顔を近づけました。 そして確かに見たんです。宇宙を見たんです。それは恒星投影球と呼ばれるもので、レンズを通してスクリーンに星座を映す元になるものなんだそうです。私はいつしか泣き止んでいました。私は宇宙を見たから。その宇宙に南天の星空を見たから。私は長い時間覗き込んでいたみたいです。その間に館長はどこからか望遠鏡を持ってきていたんです。私はその望遠鏡を受け取りました。屋上の鍵と一緒に受け取りました。これで好きな時に宇宙が見えるって言われて、科学館がなくなってもいつでも会いに行けるって、君の好きな星空に会えるって。館長は知らなかったんです。私が会いたい星空はひばりが崎からは見えないのに、ひばり港の屋上からは見えないのに。
Since the lookout was off limits, the next best place to view the stars would be the rooftop. The director must have handed her that key with that in mind, but in the end, the starry sky that Oe longed for longed to see wasn't there. Why are you telling me this? Just on a whim?
多分そうです。
So after telling me that, are you planning to distance yourself from me again? And maybe thinking about leaving the club? Remain silent. Want to make another bet? She blinked in surprise at those words. Promise you I'll show you the planetarium at the science center. In exchange, I ask her not to quit the club. Maybe to show up more often. Neither of those are the correct answer. Allow me to repair the telescope you got from the director. After thinking long and hard, that was the strategy I'd arrived at. Course of action I'd take in order to get closer to Iowa. Because there was one thing that she cherished more than anything else. And that thing was her telescope. Or rather than the bet, this time it's more than a deal.
どうして？
You in or you out? Will your answer be?
その前にどうしてって聞きました。
Well, probably because I feel the same way the director did. You probably didn't know that the starry sky that you love can't be seen from Ibarigasaki. But I don't think that's the only reason he gave you that telescope. I think he wanted you to come to love the starry sky of this town, Ibarigasaki's sky. That's why I entrusted the telescope to you. And when did it stop working?
もらってから1ヶ月も持ちませんでした。
Yeesh, that thing must have been seriously old. Yeah, I can see. Say your intentions were great, but you slipped and fell just short of the goal there, so to speak, Mr. Director, whose name I don't even know. I feel the same way as he does. I also want you to love the stars here in Ibarigasaki. So I'd like to try meddling just a bit more. Is that okay?
押し付けですか？
Well, that's usually not my thing, but I figured I'd give it a shot this time.
嫌いならしないでください。
But see, there was something that I hated even more, something I owe realizing to you.
私のせいですか？
What I hated more was the fact that nothing was changing. Well, that's only pertaining to you, though.
また私のせいですか？
These frustrating feelings were born precisely because it was that way. So, are you up for it or not? Need an answer.
その前にもう一つ聞かせてください。
Sure, what is it?
どうしてそこまでしてくれるんですか？
No, because it's you, I suppose.
答えになってません。
Jeez, I practically spelled it out in big bolded letters for you there.
もういいです。わかりました。
Sounded like she gave in.
先輩がしつこいのは今に始まったことじゃないです。だからできるなら私に科学館のプラネタリウムを見せてください。もう一度見せてください。
I responded and promised her I would do just that. Everything from here on out mostly dependent on the director now. If he gave away the telescope with the same feelings that I have now, this will go well. It has to. However, I'm going to end it here. Next part
ち
is
ょうど今
going.
お父さんが館長さんと電話で話してるよ。
Next part is probably going to be something called to the in the lines of Gambit or Gamble or something like that. This one's just gonna be like one step forward, one step back, I guess. It fits. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. See you next time. Bye bye.